Finished grabbing my water just in time for the ad break to end. Okay. Hello. We're here. We do the thing. We do the thing. We make the man. Got a little bit of lo-fi for here for right now. Because I'm gonna yap for a million hours right now. Gonna make Mothman. Setup's a little weird because the only black yarn I have is from this pound of black yarn I bought. So, pound of yarn here. An indeterminate amount of time, exactly. This is now a yap stream. I recently got the eyes to make Mothman because I didn't want to paint them. So I had to rip the sticker off grossly, but also, hi Bernie, hi Coffin. How are y'all doing? We're making the Mothman. I need to pull up the most extreme in a second, but I should have done that beforehand. But it's too late now. What was I saying? I got eyeballs for the Mothman because otherwise I would have had to paint them. And the way she wants you to paint them is like spray painting the eyeballs, and I was like, no. And you'd have to put like a base coat of white and then red? And I was like, absolutely not. So I scoured Amazon for these, and so I have red Mothman eyes. And then what else do we have? We've got faux fur yarn. I was supposed to use a like velvet yarn, but I was like, Mothman deserves better than just velvet. So we've got faux fur, so he's fluffy for the wings anyway, because the rest of them is just regular yarn, but this is for his wings, so you can have nice fluffy wings. It'll be my first time working with it, so we'll see. Glad to see you're doing good. He is just a whittle guy. Speaking of whittle guys, where did I put him? Last stream. Well, last crochet stream. I made Slendy Man. And I finally put them all together. I may have to re-glue his tie. No. Anyway, I finally put them all together. He is also for sale on my Etsy right now. Shameless self-promo. It's him. If you want him, he's on my Etsy for, I believe, $20, $15? I don't remember. Dad! It's him. Thank you, Bernie. But yeah. So, where am I going with this? We have to make Mothman. I also got this. I'm gonna keep talking. I got this the other day. I was hanging out with my friend. You're supposed to break it open, and there's a dude in it. And I was thinking of doing that on stream, but it's way harder than I thought it would be. And they give you a little plastic guitar to break it. And so I'm like, maybe I won't do that on stream because that'll be like the loudest thing ever. So, anyway. So I haven't opened it yet. Where is my brain? Okay. Let's find him in the book. I have to move some stuff on my desk because this yarn is in my way. Am I bothering you, Poppy? I'm sorry. My dog is in here. And he gets annoyed easily, so. Let's find him, the boy. I believe he's like at the... Yeah, there he is. So this is what he's supposed to look like. I was thinking I could also maybe do his antenna in the faux fur. Because if you've ever looked at a moth, right? If you've ever seen a moth, they have fluffy antenna. They don't have just plain antenna. They have fluffy antenna. That's how you know they're a moth. And so I think I'm gonna do this also in the faux fur, and then the wings instead of in the velvet. And then he'll just be a little guy. Here's the pictures of him. Where do we start? We start with his body. And what size needle hook? I'm gonna do what I did last time and go with a 5 instead. Because I want him to be large and in charge. So let's set my book up. The little bat from Castle Crashers. I don't know what you're talking about. What is this belt? Throw that away. What else can I use to hold this? Oh, I guess I can use my yarn. My pound of yarn. You know you can buy pounds of yarn. I have everything I need. I've got my scissors, I've got my needles, I've got my this thing, I've got this. Okay. Let's open up the most extreme. You sent? Okay. Hold on, let me just in case. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, hold on. Just so that I don't know, embarrass myself with my playlists. Okay. So, where did we leave off? Builders. Oh, we're on horrors just in time for Halloween. Excuse me. Oh my god, my body felt back about that one. Just in time for Halloween. We've got the horrors. Monty. Oh, let me look at the thing. Oh, that kind of looks like my tattoo. That, you know, just a little bit kind of looks like my tattoo. Except my tattoo doesn't have wings. This one. This one. My little guy that Deputy drew me. What was I doing? Okay. Full screen it. We're on the horrors. Kinda. It's just a little dude. Anything that's just a little dude is like, hello, Pondo. Okay, hold on. Pondo's been having fucking issues. I think it's really funny right now that he's like, I'm just a happy pup loving life on the stream, and he's crying. He's like, on my end, I'm assuming on your end as well, but he's fucking crying. How happy can he be? He's crying. Pondo, fix your shit. Okay. He's having a crisis. I'm also sorry if, like, there's lots of, mouth sounds. I switched out my tongue ring and it's been bothering me. And so I probably need to change it. But it's been rubbing up against the roof of my mouth really uncomfortably. And so I'm constantly aware of it and fucking with it, which is making it worse. So if you hear those, I apologize. Anyway, the most extreme horrors. In we go. I take a sip of my coffee.
Down the top 10 most extreme nightmares of nature and trying to find out why they scare us so badly.
We start. Can you hear everything okay? Is the volume all right on the most extreme?
When terror is taken to its most extreme. Earth is a planet of extremes. Extreme
is the sound okay?
And extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others.
Wah, 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 wah.
Join us as we
I could up it a little? Okay.
find the most
I'll up it on YouTube.
unusual and the most extraordinary.
Does that sound okay?
On the most extreme.
Okay. Do you like my shirt? Look at him. Husband. There's a bunch of him on here, and it says
Number
Miguel
10 in the countdown
O'Hara.
has come straight from our darkest nightmares.
Anyway,
The
okay.
wolf is a
Back to what we were.
scary animal.
Spider-Man.
What chance would we
gotta make a
have
magic circle.
against a savage hunter that can easily bring down animals 5 times heavier than we are?
This pound of yarn is actually going to be annoying.
You can't outrun wolves. They're twice as fast as an Olympic sprinter.
Okay, I'm having issues.
No wonder we've been afraid of the big
There's stuff on my
bad
desk.
wolf for thousands of years.
But yeah, it's also a big fucking dog.
Once
Most
upon a
people are
time,
afraid of dogs.
Wolves
Well,
and
not most,
humans hunted in the same forests.
Wow.
Once, it made sense to be afraid of the mighty wolf. But today, things have changed.
I would like for my book
Now,
to sit
we live in houses,
open. It's really hard
far
because
away
it's
from the
like
ferocious animals that terrified our
at the
ancestors.
beginning of the
To
fucking
get a
book.
fright today,
And
you
so
have
it
to
doesn't
visit
want to.
places
Oh, wait.
like
Oh, I don't even need it
Thrillvania,
on that side. Okay,
the best
hold
little
on. Move my
horror house
chapstick.
in Texas.
No.
So why do we do it?
Does that work?
Why do we go looking for horrifying monsters?
Nothing better to do?
Being scared
Maybe we're
is
trying to find a
scary.
husband.
So why do we pay?
That's
to
why
be
I look for
terrified
horrifying
by
monsters.
horror movies or roller coaster
They are
rides?
not the size of horses. Horses are much
The
bigger
answer
than
lies in the
wolves.
physical nature of fear. To
As somebody who's
understand
seen
why
a wolf
some
in
people are
person and
thrill
also seen a
seekers,
horse in person.
you have to know what happens to your body when you're scared. When you're
I cry
frightened,
when I'm scared.
hormones like adrenaline flood your body. Adrenaline diverts blood from your skin and gut to your muscles. You get extra energy.
Bigsby
because you
Wolf is
begin
bigger than a
breathing
horse.
faster and your
Bigsby-
heart starts racing. The adrenaline rush.
Bigsby Wolf from the video game? The Wolf Among Us? No, he is not. Comic of... It was a comic? I had to pause the most extreme for this because what the fuck are you talking about? His wolf form is not bigger than a horse. There's no fucking way. I'm Googling this. I had to... You own like 8? What? Okay, Bigsby. Wolf. Wolf. Oh, it's Bigby, not Bigsby. Is this also a Marvel thing? That I didn't know about? And like 8 other things at the... Okay, hold on. They don't have like... Dark Horse? Is that the one that owns Hellboy? Oh, that's the Wolf Among Us wiki. In wolf form, he's 8 feet tall. But is he on his hind... Okay, there's a half-wolf form, a werewolf form, and a wolf form. Okay. Wolf that resembles muscular humanoid. Okay, it doesn't say how big the werewolf form is. Wolf form. In this state, Bigby is a wolf larger than an elephant. What? And the size of a building? What the fuck? I guess well then yeah, that wolf is bigger than a horse. If it's bigger than a fucking building, bigger than an elephant. See, you didn't say that though. You just said he killed a dragon. What the fuck? Okay.
Even
Whatever.
sharpens the senses.
What was I
Your
doing?
pupils dilate
1, 2.
so you can see
Okay.
better. All these hormonal
Thank you,
changes
Nightbot.
are known as the fight or flight response.
He's killed like 3 dragons.
Thrill seekers love feeling the buzz of their body, being ready to fight for its life or to run for it.
And depression. That's impressive.
But the fight or flight response wasn't designed for adrenaline.
Remember how
junkies.
they linked
It's meant
his
for a really dangerous
remember how
situation,
somebody leaked his
facing
like
a ferocious pack
new
of
look
wolves.
in the game and they made him ugly and then it turned out that wasn't true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy
But
shit.
do wolves deserve their terrible reputation?
No,
After
they're just
all,
dogs.
There's never been a documented case of a healthy wild wolf killing a human in North America.
Of a healthy one. I like how he said that.
In fact, after years of persecution,
And you
wolves are
believed
more
it?
scared of us.
I did!
They'll keep well out of our way. And that's why the big, bad, bashful wolf is only number 10 in our countdown of horror.
Well, you shouldn't, because so here's the thing. An unhealthy wolf is usually going to be by itself, right? A healthy wolf? So you should not antagonize wolves. Because an unhealthy wolf is going to do whatever, because it's by itself. But,
Would
yeah,
you
no,
like
they're
a
just big
mouse
dogs.
in the house?
What's the matter? What's the matter? Where is he? Under there. What? Who could get under there? A mouse.
Did you know birds help wolves? I believe it.
Can you imagine anyone being afraid of a little thing like a mouse? Get him, son. Now look out.
That's Bernie.
Nice boy, chicken.
Incredible as it may seem, the mouse is number 9 in our countdown because it's some people's worst nightmare. A recent poll showed
But they're just
33%
little
of American
dudes.
women are afraid of mice.
I had a
But
friend
why?
who had a rat.
A mouse is harmless, and it's usually so frightened of us that it'll keep well out of our way.
Increase.
But then,
Okay.
some humans can be frightened of the strangest things. More than 40% of Americans are terrified of speaking in public.
Yeah, that's
Some
scary.
even have a phobia, which means that even though there's no physical danger, their body goes into the fight or flight response,
They didn't cause the
Blood
plague.
is
The British
directed
being
away from
gross
their
caused the
skin,
plague.
leaving them with cold feet and sweaty hands. Their heart races, and they're ready to fight. Or more likely, run screaming from the stage.
Because people are mean. Yeah,
We
people
sometimes
are
call
fucking
this
mean.
phobia stage fright, but there are many others. Chronomentrophobia is the morbid
sorry.
fear of clocks. Selenophobics are afraid of the moon. Triskaidekaphobia is the fear of the number 13.
Once again, I'm having to
Platophobia
continue
is the
rearranging
fear of
stuff.
bald men.
No, not bald men.
So why are sufferers of musophobia so afraid of mice? One doctor suggests
it's a
fear
phobia?
not of, but for the mouse. When a mouse pops up, it stimulates the idea of having to kill it, and that's what causes the anxiety.
How many was I on?
And the problem
One,
is
two, three,
that mice
4.
just keep popping up.
1, 2, 3, 4,
In
5,
good
6.
conditions, one female can have up to 11 babies every 3 weeks. And conditions don't get any better than the grain belt of Australia.
What? What?
In 1994, a plague of mice in South Australia caused over $65 million worth of destruction. No wonder some Australians are afraid of mice.
Where's Cappy? I need to ask him a question. Yeah, which
We
makes
may have
sense.
screamed through the first 2 contenders in the countdown, but we've still got to get face to face with incredible monsters that will make your
Don't just
skin
at
crawl.
random Cappies.
That's coming up on the most extreme.
Not you, LL. My sister, fun fact, my sister is so afraid of cockroaches that she gags when she sees them.
Something you can't feel until it's too late. Keep your hand out of the water.
What's wrong with the water? Dad! Stay back! Stay back!
Piranhas? What the fuck is happening?
They're here. They're hungry.
They are
The
piranhas!
piranha is a little fish
Haha.
with a big reputation. A school of these fish could strip the flesh off a cow in just a few minutes. Piranha are number 8 in the countdown because their ferocity is world famous, even though they're only found in the rivers of South America.
They also only
You'd
do that
certainly
if there's
think
blood in the
twice
water.
about swimming in these waters, especially
They don't
when
just
you
attack
discover
people.
that in some regions, the piranha are known to the locals as donkey castrators.
I'm sorry.
But are piranha really as horrific as their reputation suggests? Surely any animal that entered the water would be instantly attacked. But the otter is safe. It's the dead fish that's in trouble. Contrary to popular opinion, piranha are scavengers, which is why they're happier eating a dead fish than a live otter. Researchers have found that piranha are mostly harmless, preferring to feed on the tail fins or scales of fish rather than devouring the critters whole. In fact, in the rivers of South America, there's another fish that's far more horrific than the piranha. Explorers traveling through the Amazon have long heard stories of a tiny catfish called the candiru. Like a tiny vampire, it swims up into the gills of a larger fish and feeds on its blood. But the truly horrific thing about the candiru is that sometimes it makes itself at home inside humans.
Didn't they inspire Jaws? I
It's
have no
attracted
idea.
to urine. So it enters our body through our most private parts. So if you're traveling in South America, never, ever
My
use the
wrist
river as
is
a toilet.
bothering me. I should have
In
stretched
fact,
before.
maybe candiru could be exported. There'd be a demand for its deterrent
There's a
effects in
crunching
any
sound
public
happening.
swimming
Or a
pool.
crunching feeling happening when I do this. That's bad.
In South America, it pays to remember
People don't
that there
believe
are
me
all
when I
sorts
tell
of
them that.
reasons not
Who
to
are
go
people?
in the water. If the thought of ferocious fish, revolting
I believed you.
rodents,
What are you
or
talking about?
wailing
I knew
wolves
about
doesn't
that.
scare you. Coming up is half a ton of muscle and teeth that runs faster than an
My wrist
Olympic
hurts.
sprinter. That's next.
Because
on
I
the
knew
Moth
about this. I've heard about this before.
Stream. If you go down to the woods today, you could
If
be
you
in
go
for a
down to the
big,
woods
furry
today,
surprise. Even these
better
armed
wear a
professionals
disguise.
are worried about number 7 in our countdown.
What is it? Is it a bear?
They're looking for an animal that can stand 3 meters tall,
It's a bear.
weigh more than 7 men, and can outrun the best Olympic sprinter.
It's a bear.
Number 7 in the countdown is
It's a grizzly bear.
the bear.
Yeah!
The grizzly bear is the undisputed
How fast are bears?
heavyweight
Fast.
champion of the mountains and one of the biggest carnivores on 4 legs. It's this terrifying combination of brute force and speed that's powered the bear into number 7 in our countdown. For even though a hiker in the Rocky Mountains is more likely to be hurt by a rutting elk, a falling tree, or even another hiker, it's the bear we worry about.
And the mountain
And
lions.
that's why some people walking in the woods
That is not what it-
take
yes, it
serious
is.
precautions. They arm themselves, not with bullets, but darts.
What's the biggest carnivore? Probably a bear.
These wildlife conservation officers are from the Pennsylvania Game Commission. They've located a den where they hope a mother black bear is sleeping peacefully. The tranquilizing injection should ensure that the hibernating mother doesn't wake up, for the officers are after her cubs.
Why? Holy shit. Me too.
Monitoring the bear population in Pennsylvania isn't easy, for even
Oh my
baby
God.
bears are armed and dangerous.
Why are they
according
taking
to
the
Scott
bears?
Tomlinson.
Oh, they're weighing them. They're
Those claws are at this stage very sharp. In the adults, much larger. They use them a lot for tearing open stumps, turning over rocks. The adults are not nearly as sharp, but yet in livestock and other animals that get raked by a bear, they can open them right up. Again, tremendous amount of power due to the muscle structure in the jaw. Would easily crush bone.
the polar bear. Yeah, that's what I
But
thought.
strangely enough, the
Polar
ferocious
bears are
bear
scary.
is not only a camper's worst nightmare, but a kid's best friend. The teddy bear is the best-selling toy of all time. But even the cuddliest teddy bear can still be dangerous. Researchers have discovered that 9 out of 10 teddy bears are contaminated with bacteria.
What?
There's no evidence that toy bears are infectious, but there's been a call to ban the bear from doctors' waiting rooms.
Oh.
Bears will always be a mysterious paradox,
Not
both
really.
terrifying and appealing.
Yeah,
The
because they're so
adults could
cute.
kill us with one swat of their mighty paw, and yet we love them more than any other toy animal.
Yeah,
That's
because
why
look at
bears
them.
are only number
Look at their
7
fucking
in
little
our
ears
extreme
and tell me that
countdown.
that thing isn't adorable. Come on.
During the summer of 1975, the beaches of North America were quieter than usual. The water was warm, the weather was fine, but people were frightened to get in the water. They were scared of a movie star, a fearsome fish nicknamed
Shark.
Bruce. The star of the movie Jaws is still scaring people today in the backlots of Universal Studios.
Have you gone on the Jaws
Because
ride,
real
Bernie?
great whites are notoriously difficult to work with on a soundstage. The makers of Jaws built an animatronic shark and nicknamed it Bruce.
Or is that
after
not in
Steven
Florida?
Spielberg's lawyer. There's a rumor that sharks don't eat lawyers out of professional courtesy. So why was Bruce so
Oh,
scary?
you don't know.
Well, you just have to take a close look at a real great white shark.
I know it's at Universal California. But I don't know how often they like have the same rides between the Universals.
Even surrounded by a cage of steel, it's a little unnerving being in the water with 2 tons of muscle and teeth that can move 5 times faster than an Olympic swimmer. It's a big fish with a bigger appetite.
Making a funny little hexagon. I wonder why. Why doesn't this one do what I want it to do?
Perhaps the movie Jaws was so successful because it touched on some deep, almost universal anxiety about sharks. We're all a little paranoid when we get into the water, according to marine educator at the Aquarium of New Zealand, Sally Carson.
The dorsal fin projecting through the surface is a sight that causes great panic among people. They imagine a big, dangerous shark below the surface with great big teeth and immediately rush to get out of the water we can't swim very well underwater. We put on extra fins. We can't breathe underwater. We have to put on all this extra gear to allow us to breathe. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we're quite scared of sharks.
When you're underwater, you can't hear things coming up behind you. You can't see very well, and you can't move quickly to escape. That's why our imagination
Hexagon.
quickly turns sharks into monsters. But we've been inventing monsters for centuries. Ancient explorers always brought back tales of
Hold on.
fantastic monsters
It's
from
gonna be on my phone
far-off
for
lands.
half a second.
It's part of the human consciousness to invent horrific creatures to explain why these alien
For
worlds
literally
were
half a
so
second.
frightening.
I'm a bad streamer. I get on my phone.
And these primal fears are still with us. It's just that, having explored our world, now we're creating monsters to fill the unknown regions of outer space.
You're getting soup or you got soup?
The monster still remains the most effective tool for visualizing and confronting our deepest fears. Bruce, the star of Jaws, was a monster. But Bruce was made of plastic and designed to sell movie tickets. Real sharks can be monstrous, but they're not all killers. The biggest shark in the world is
Okay.
the size of a whale and just as gentle. A
Whale
shark
shark,
doesn't even
look at
have
him.
teeth.
He's just a little dude.
And not all
Well, he's a
sharks
big
are
dude.
enormous. In fact, out of 350 species, not even half grow any bigger
They're sharks.
than a meter long.
I like nurse sharks. They're funny looking.
Despite all the sharks' bad press, worldwide there are probably only 100 shark attacks each year. In fact, that's why shark attacks make the headlines, because they happen so rarely.
That is their natural environment, the ocean, and if we're going to enter it, we probably need to enter it on the sharks' terms, and they're the top predator, we're the invader, we need to respect their environment.
It seems the shark is mainly a monster of our mind. And as we learn more about this fearsome fish, our attitudes are slowly changing. That's why sharks are only number 6 in the countdown. If you think you've conquered your fear of the worst nightmares of nature, think again. For coming up is an animal that can swoop into your dreams and scare even the bravest souls.
A bug.
That's next on the most extreme.
It's gonna be a bug. It's gonna be like a spider or something.
In all of the annals of mystery, there's never been a more elusive, fearsome, and cunning killer. He'll lure you through hidden passages to make you his next victim. But nobody lives forever, so why be afraid of the bat?
Oh! I'm fighting with
The
this
bat
yarn.
comes screaming into the countdown at number 5 because it's been flying through our nightmares for generations. Even today, with sophisticated night vision cameras, bats are still surrounded in a fog of superstition.
They're just little
We're
guys.
scared of bats because we know so little about them. According to University of Tennessee's professional Batman, Gary McCracken.
Bats are mysterious. Most people don't know very much about bats. They're active at night when people are typically asleep.
Why is he in
They're
the dark?
associated with darkness, and where they live in caves, under the ground. There's a fear to that. They live in abandoned buildings and church steeples, just places that are spooky to people and scare people, and people don't know much about them, so they fear them.
Half the things people think they know about bats aren't even true. Everybody knows that when a bat flies past your head, it's trying to attack you.
No.
What
Why
people
would that?
don't know is that when you're walking along, you're stirring up dozens of tiny insects. The bats are attacking the bugs, not us. And they won't get tangled in our hair, no matter how close they fly past our heads.
That's what you think. My hair's curly.
Bats also keep bad company. Back in Eastern Europe,
Parasites.
vampires were once thought to be the souls of the dead that rose from the grave and wandered about the night to suck blood from the living. There were no bats in the legend until along came Dracula. Count Dracula
Bram
was a
Stoker.
character created by author Bram Stoker, and it was thanks to his book that bats became part of the vampire legend. Thanks to Bram Stoker, now everybody thinks bats are bloodthirsty killers.
I don't think it's just his fault.
In fact,
Why is there
only
puppy
3
hair
bats
in
out of
the
nearly
safety?
1,000 species are vampires. Most bats eat insects or fruit. So it seems that once again, our fears are based on nothing more than myth and superstition. Most of our phobias don't stand up well to scientific scrutiny, which is why back in 1946, a group of people got together to prove it. The National Committee of 13 Against Superstition, Prejudice, and Fear was launched on Friday the 13th.
Wow.
Of course, their aim was to prove that superstition can be eradicated.
To educate by example, these iconoclasts publicly violate all the time-honored taboos. For with the scientists, they believe that until men learn that
Welcome
their
back.
future lies in themselves, not in cults or charms or mumbo-jumbo, the security and happiness men have sought down the ages will still elude them. Time marches on.
The fight against superstition and prejudice continues today. Susan Clevin is an animal educator in Aubrey, Texas, who's trying to spread the good news about bats.
We can overcome our phobia of bats by understanding and learning more about their activities and how important they are to people. Bats that eat insects eat a lot of insects that are harmful to us. Fruit bats pollinate lots of plants that are beneficial to us.
Fruit bats roost
I
in
understand
trees
why
during
people
the
are
day,
afraid of
so
fruit
they're
bats
not
though
very
because they are
mysterious.
huge.
They're such a common animal that people don't think they're evil at all. That's why in Asia, bats are symbols of good health and good fortune. No wonder the much maligned bat is only number 5 in the countdown.
Yeah, they're called flying foxes because their little faces look like foxes.
There's no hiding from number 4 in the countdown. It can be found in our gardens, our houses, and our sheds.
Now is it a spider? It's probably a spider now. I'm afraid of spiders.
Scaring us when we least expect it is the spider. Perhaps
Ah!
you're frightened of the way the spider scuttles across the ground on those big,
Oh my
hairy
god, I hate
legs.
it.
Or the way it stares at you with those 8 beady
I hate it.
eyes.
I hate it. I hate it.
Or maybe it's those 2 horrific fangs.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Some psychologists believe that everybody has an instinctive distrust of spiders. But if you have a bad experience with a spider, or see someone else's fear, then your built-in paranoia can become arachnophobia. Extreme arachnophobics are compulsive cleaners and will even tape windows shut to make sure that spiders can't get in. Some arachnophobics are so paranoid, they seal their newly washed clothes in spider-proof plastic bags. But at last, help may be at hand. It may be possible to find a cure for even the most extreme cases of arachnophobia.
A cure? The only spiders I like are jumping spiders because they've got cute little faces.
Multimedia psychotherapy. Brenda Wiederhold has been using some modern technology to help arachnophobic Amber McNeil.
When I was just a little girl, if I would see a spider or, something like that, I would just run away from it and call my mother if it was in the house, and have her come get it. And now I just moved to San Diego,
okay, now
3,000 miles away from my mother. So whenever I see a spider in my house, which I have, I can't call her to come get it. I have to do something. So I just figured,
Pumped her up.
Try it out.
The first part of the therapy uses technology to help teach clients to relax. Amber's able to see her body's fight or flight response on the screen. That way, she can practice controlling her own physiology, even in the face of the enemy. Amber
that's
can
just
even
silly.
come face to face with a virtual spider. Safe in the world of virtual reality, Amber is able to cope with a computer-generated spider. But is she ready to travel to the local pet store and confront her worst nightmare in the flesh?
Oh God.
Oh, how pretty! Look at him. Oh my God.
Oh.
You should hold him first.
Do you want me to hold him first? Okay. Come here, guys. Oh my God. Here we go. Here we go. You're okay.
Okay. All right, Harry. How about you just chill? Okay. There you go.
What? What? Hi, Toad. You feeling okay? Good morning.
Stable. He'll just get comfortable and sit. And you'll have to make him get off of you.
Okay.
What's got you in the Mayday parade mood?
Actually, not at all what I thought you would be like. You're right. Like how you said it was just this little tiny, air puff. I thought they were gonna be really dense.
Well, yeah, tarantulas don't weigh fucking anything because they're not like.
Realize that it's not so much. It's not terrifying anymore.
This poor woman. Please take that away from her face.
Yeah, that's a little funny.
Please take that away from her face.
Yeah, but he's just stopped on your shoulder, Amber. He's just like sitting there. I wish I had my camera. He's so cute. He's like a little parrot. Yeah. Exactly.
When my mom sees this, she would never believe.
So maybe you've
Holding a snake is fine.
Spiders.
I can't do spiders.
Or sharks.
One of my friends growing up, her dad had a pet spider. He had a tarantula. And my sister used to hold it. And I would just stay as far away from the kitchen because they kept it like in the kitchen dining room area. I would stay as far away from that area when it was out because my friend's dad was mean. And so I didn't want to have to be forced to hold the spider or anything. Scythe is good. Holding snakes is just kind of weird because they're cold, so they feel wet. Because your brain actually can't differentiate between your skin can't feel wet, it just feels cold. And so they feel wet because they're cold, but they're not wet.
Happily pollinating flowers and giving us honey. But bees killed 10 times more people each year than the fiercest grizzlies, gators, and spiders combined.
I am afraid of bees. Just a little bit.
2 million Americans
that is because I'm allergic to bees.
Allergic to bee venom.
I don't think I'm severely, I don't think I'm deathly, but I am allergic.
5 minutes. One bee on its own is bad enough, but we start getting scared when it calls for reinforcements.
You know what's worse than a bee, though? A wasp.
Bees are number 3 in the countdown, because we're desperately frightened of.
Because wasps will just
the
attack you for
swarm.
no reason. I have a scar on my wrist, actually. Oh, you can't see it anymore! Because I don't think it's this one. I think it was on this wrist. No! I had a scar on this wrist here. But I tattooed over it. I didn't even realize, because I also have like an itty bitty one like here. You can't see it, but I don't think that's from the wasp. I think it's on this one.
Into the United States
And I think I covered it.
And with them came
And I didn't even
hysteria
know.
and fear. After all, killer bees are fun in the movies. But how'd you like to find a huge nest hanging in the trees of your backyard?
No, thank you.
If you're in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time to call in Derek
Oh,
Taylor and the Africanized
recently,
bee removal
my
specialists.
mom had
The reason the
hummingbird
Africanized bees are so
feeders,
dangerous is when they attack you, they attack in
and
a lot greater numbers compared to
she
European bees. They actually have no more venom
she had been
in each
leaving them
sting than
out
the European bee does, but when
because
sting you,
they were
sting
still
you for far
migrating
greater
at the end of the
numbers and a far
summer.
bigger radius.
But
The Europeans, when you upset her, will send between 20 and 30 attacks
they
no matter how big the colony is, and they'll sting for a short
they had all
distance.
left,
The
and then we were having the issue where like
So
we
these
were
mammal
getting
colonies, like, they
bees,
can get
like
anywhere
bees
between
were
10 to even
covering
30,000
this
bees
one
a
in
year
the
at a time,
backyard,
stinging
so we
people.
had to
It's
like
very
take it
dangerous.
down.
And that's why bees are number 3 in the countdown.
'Cause I was
Even
worried they
with
were
the
gonna, like,
appropriate
swarm.
Safety equipment. The thought of thousands of animals trying to cause us pain can be terrifying.
This hive is amazing just because it is so big for an exposed colony, to have a colony with all the guard bees on the outside, to be hanging out in the open like this where you can see the whole thing. Sometimes we get these in the walls or underneath sheds or something like that where they're not all exposed and the guard bees are on the outside, but to have a colony get this large outside is extremely rare.
You had a whole hive in your water meter? That's fucking crazy.
For some people, taking on a swarm of killer bees would be the ultimate nightmare. But ironically, we've only got ourselves to blame.
Well, actually, it was in Brazil years ago. They had the Africanized bees. They were working with them so they could make more honey. What happened is they had 17 queens that got loose that somebody let out, and they slowly made their way up. They said that they'd never make it above the Panama Canal, and they'd never live in the mountains in Mexico because the winters are too cold. They're too harsh for them. And notoriously, Africanized bees never stored enough honey. Well, what they did is they picked up, the only trait they picked up from the European colony was this, hey, let's store more honey. So that's why they can live through the winters now, and that's why we have these Africanized colonies of 50, 60,000.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're not allowed to exterminate them, so gotta call a specialist. What did the
But not
specialist
even
say?
killer bees can compare to the fear and loathing we have for another deadly animal. For there's nothing sweet about our next contender.
I'm not equipped emotionally or physically for this. What? You joke, dude, that's your job. What do you mean? Was it, how many fucking bees was it? I kind of like watching bee removal videos because it's interesting how they do it.
What scares Americans the most? It isn't
Men.
the dark.
Oh, the exterminator said
thunder and
that?
lightning,
Oh, okay. I thought it was the bee specialist.
or even flying in an aeroplane. More than half the population admits to being afraid of snakes.
And the bee guy came?
Each year around the world, these deadly reptiles kill an estimated 30,000 people. No wonder snakes are number 2 in our countdown of
You
horrors.
scared me because I know a Liam, and I was like, what Liam news? What the fuck are you talking about?
Even an expert
I woke
like
up and that was
Peter
the text
Taylor
I got.
from the
And I was like,
St.
what the
Louis
hell?
Zoo has a healthy
The
respect
big
for
box?
the
Jesus
animals he
Christ, how big was
knows
this hive?
and loves. An adult king
I
cobra has
didn't
enough
know
venom in a single
that
bite
Liam
to kill
Payne
an
was,
elephant. So
in
it
a whole
pays to
bunch of
be cautious,
controversy for being,
even when
like,
dealing with this young
potentially,
snake.
like, a sexual
Getting a
abuser.
snake from one container to another.
And then he was
is no
apparently
easy
victim blaming,
task.
which I mean is still very sad that he died. It's still very tragic that he died. Because apparently he fell from like the 3rd story.
If an expert
A
snake
bowling
handler
ball?
like Peter is so careful around snakes, it's no wonder the rest of us are petrified by them. That's why
That's
these
crazy.
killers are number 2 in the countdown. But there may be other reasons why we're so scared of snakes.
If it isn't instinctive, I think one reason people are afraid of snakes is because they are so different from ourselves. They're cold-blooded, they lack legs, they're low to the ground, stealthy, they do not blink, their tongues are forked, so they're quite something to get used to.
But there are
I
some
like
sounds
snakes.
you never get used to. The rattlesnake's rattle is terrifying for all kinds of intruders. We think all the horrific animals in the countdown are out to get us, but we shouldn't take it
So
so
the
personally.
next
A rattlesnake uses
10
its
rows
rattle
is just
to
going to be
scare
the same
away
thing.
any
So this is going to be
intruders. Then
boring.
it doesn't have to waste
Ugh,
venom
my
on
nose
animals
is
that are too
bothering
big
me.
to
What's
swallow.
going on? It's so itchy. I feel so
Certainly,
itchy
animals
today.
within the environment where snakes can be important predators are afraid. Many primates in Africa, for instance, as an example, are quite afraid of snakes. Vervet monkeys will pelt pythons with objects and rocks and keep them in
Kinda
sight
interesting that
when
monkeys
they're
are afraid of
endangering
snakes.
the group.
Being afraid of snakes makes sense. After all, staying clear of a killer markedly increases your life expectancy. But are snakes as bad as we like to think?
No.
Our imaginations turn every slithering thing into a venomous killer, when in truth, only about 10% of snakes in the world are poisonous. But most people
Well, and they're
can't
not
tell the
poisonous, they're
difference.
venomous because
That's why we're scared
they
of them
bite
all.
you and you die. So they're
After
actually.
all, when it comes to snakes, it's always better to be safe
Then
than
sorry.
sorry.
I've always wanted like a ball python. They only get like 5 feet long,
We've seen
and
the 9 contenders.
they're basically a
They're the
completely
worst of
domestic
the
breed.
worst.
They're called ball
Only one
pythons because
thing
their defense mechanism is that they just
more.
curl up in a ball. They don't strike. They
number
don't do
1,
any.
and
Well, I
it's
mean, some of
coming
them
up
strike because it's
next
still a
on
little
the
bit
Moth.
instinctual, like especially when
Extreme.
feeding. But for the most part, they just curl up in a ball.
Creeping in to number 1 in the countdown are worms.
Worms.
But not harmless garden
Not the
worms.
boar worms.
These are man-eating monsters.
Ew. What the fuck?
From everywhere. Millions of writhing, seething creatures oozing out of the mire to feed on human flesh.
Dude, that's somebody's girlfriend. That's like just a plague of girlfriends. What the fuck? Where did they come from?
Don't think this is just some B-movie plotline.
Squirm.
There really are horrific worms that hunt us down.
I believe it.
In the tropics, be afraid of the blood fluke.
The
larval
what now?
stage of this parasitic worm will burrow through your skin to get into your bloodstream.
Ugh. What the
This
fuck?
little horror heads to the blood vessels near your bladder. Adults can live up to 30 years, constantly laying eggs that are so spiny they can rupture your bladder wall on the way to the outside world.
What the fuck?
Our nightmares may be full of huge, ferocious beasts, but
Ew.
the scariest things live inside our bodies.
Gross. That's why
Some live
TLC had a
inside
whole
our
fucking
gut,
TV show that was
just
like,
waiting to
what,
feast
Nightmares
on the
Inside
food
Me
we
or something
send
like
down
that?
to them every day. The roundworm
That's gross.
scarus is as thick as a pencil and twice as long. It's
Ugh.
found inside 1 out of every 4 people on the planet.
What?
And the scariest thing is that you might never know that these worms are inside you. Usually you only find out when the worm gets upset and decides it's time to leave the body.
It's a good thing you
But
finished your
other
soup.
worms cause trouble because they get stuck in our body. These filarial worms are as thin as sewing thread and as long as your finger. They live coiled up inside your lymph glands, feeding on your
No
body
salad?
fluids.
Dude, how could you do that to Maddie?
The trouble is, all these worms curled up can block
Worms.
fluid movement. And that's how we can get the gross swellings known as elephantiasis. How'd you like a limb the same size,
They're worms.
shape, and color as an elephant's leg? There's nowhere on your body that worms can't reach. There's even a worm that's at home in your heart.
There is?
Heartworms are usually
Oh.
parasites of your pet dog, but
No.
sometimes they'll move house and live inside your heart, feeding
I
on
didn't
your
know
blood.
that. I didn't know that they could do that.
Be afraid. Be very afraid of what may be lurking inside your body. You can't hide from worms. They're everywhere.
You. Like the brain. Could you imagine having a worm in your brain?
That's
Couldn't be
why,
me.
when it comes to terror, parasitic worms really are the most,
The most extreme.
extreme.
There's a bug in his brain that's making him insane. What does it do? Oh, you're still quoting the video. Wow, in 45 minutes, a little bit less than 45 minutes, I've gotten halfway through the body.
For the strongest creatures on the planet.
Look at that elephant!
We're
Is that an ant?
counting down
Tiger!
the top 10 most extreme examples of animal
Can I make
strength
this quality
and
literally any
comparing
higher?
them with human
Nope,
attempts
we get
to muscle
240p,
their way
man.
to
I'm
the
so
record
sorry.
books. Discover that only the strong survive when you take life to the most.
The most extreme. Oh, I made a knot in my yarn.
Earth
Oops.
is a planet of extremes.
What, dude?
Extreme places. And extreme animals.
I followed the breathing instructions and gave myself a panic attack. Whoa, there's a ghost on my screen! Did you see that?
Join us as we count
Wait, what
down
breathing
to find the
instructions?
most unusual and the most extraordinary on Animal Planets.
I followed the breathing instructions and gave myself a panic attack while I was... What? From the bug video?
Number 10.
What bug video?
Powering straight into our countdown of
From the most extreme...
extreme
You guys can see my
strength is the
dinosaurs!
bear,
Look at them.
the strongest land mammal in North America.
Look at them. There's another one. You can't see him.
Bears come in at number 10 because they love working out in the
Oh, I didn't
wilderness.
watch the video. That's
After
why I'm
all,
confused.
Who needs a gym when there are 300-pound boulders lying around?
This seems bigger than the Slendy Man.
But black bears don't roll rocks.
Do I want
just
to? I don't
improve
know
their
if I want
physique.
to.
They're more interested
I
in
feel
the
like I
bugs under
was
the
forced to
boulders
watch it once
than
while
working out
on
the
a stream
muscles
of
on
an
their
ex-mutual of
shoulders.
ours, and I removed it from my brain on purpose.
While looking for food keeps bears in peak physical condition, we found other ways to build up our strength. So why does working out work?
Cool. I'm sorry. I don't like that guy's
Has more
content.
than 650 different muscles. They range in size from the massive gluteus maximus to a muscle just one.
I like how he said
the
massive
size of
gluteus
a
maximus,
twig.
and that man's
It's found
ass
in
is
your ear
tiny.
and protects your eardrum from loud noises. And no matter how much you exercise, you'll never get more muscles. The ones you've got will just get bigger. But the only way we could be as
Oh,
big
what a
and
smack.
strong as a bear was if we grew to be 10 feet tall and weighed around 1,200 pounds. And since half
Light
of
work
a
for
bear's body weight is
Yujiro
pure
Hanma.
muscle, it's no wonder bears are so much stronger than us. And like
Yujiro
any
Hanma could fight a bear.
super-athlete, all those muscles use an
And
awful
win.
lot of energy, which is why bears spend so much
I think he
time
has
looking
fought a
for
bear.
food.
Imagine 1,200 pounds. A gorilla? He's fought a gorilla. He could win against a gorilla.
The summer salmon run provides
He
plenty of
fought a
bodybuilding
mammoth
protein, but it also
that
brings
got
fierce
unfrozen.
competition
He
for
could
the
definitely
best
fight a
fishing
gorilla.
spots.
Oh.
Grizzly bears are so strong that one swat
Did
from
you
their
say
massive
fight a
paws could break your
Godzilla?
back.
Somebody message the author of Baki
So
and
it's
see
no
if
wonder
Yujiro
that
thinks
most
he
people
could
keep
win
their
against
distance,
Godzilla.
no matter how much they're provoked.
Look at him! He's just a bear. Why would you throw a rock at him?
The only way you could safely get up close and personal with a grizzly would be to wear a serious suit of armor.
Dude, just run at it
Just
screaming.
like the one built by Canadian mountain man Troy Hurtubise.
Now, if he's got the same power, which I doubt it, even the doctors of physics at McMaster University, they said that's if you're going to simulate the swat of a grizzly bear, you've
Okay.
got to go with a 300-400 pound.
There's 3 cartoon bears saying about that's a bad idea. True. Okay, so ad's about to start, and it's about to be puppy time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to BRB right meow. So we'll do BRB. I'm back. Pause this. There we go. Back. What were we? Most extreme bears. Bears. Okay. I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I don't know what that is about. Water. Anyway.
Pound log, 40 feet elevated. They did the PSI, the G-force. They said the grizzly.
Oh,
swat
there's
will
a
not
man
succeed
in that thing?
So I'm saying, even if that is what a grizzly can do to me, the only difference is he might be able to do that 2 or 3 times consecutively. I'm ready.
Here it comes.
Oh, they're not using a real bear. They're using...
Troy's been developing this suit. No, that's not real. That's not what just happened. Yeah. What the fuck was that?
Able to do that 2 or 3 times consecutively. I'm ready.
Here it comes.
Troy's been developing.
Why? How is that supposed to simulate a bear at all? Cool. So what the bear is gonna do is it's gonna knock you over, and then you're going to be fucking stuck there while it just attacks you. My pockets are removing themselves from themselves. That was not... That's not real. There's no way that's real. Don't fall, Monty. There's no fucking way that that's real. That's real life. What is going on down here? Oy. The place where I put my feet is being overrun by a box. Okay, that's just gonna sit there for now. Okay, that was certainly something.
This suit for 10 painful years.
10? Okay. Oh. Oh my god, dude.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Troy's
You okay?
convinced the armor's tough enough to withstand even the strongest grizzly. The hard part
What a
will be
fucking
finding
idiot.
a bear brave enough to go anywhere near him.
A bear? What is he doing?
While the bear may be stronger than your average Canadian, our next contender can even muscle a
Stronger than your average Canadian. Where's Moa? Where's Moa? I need to ask him. Why they're using Canadians as a unit of measurement for strength.
Number 9.
You know many Canadians? I know two. I'm not saying Moa could take a bear. I'm saying, why are they using Canadians as a measure of strength? Are Canadians stronger than Americans?
That we call it the muscle. This young shellfish will need all its strength just to find a foothold.
I can't take this fucking show seriously. Why do you know so many Canadians?
To hold on tight. But it's not just the muscle's muscle that makes it extreme.
Oh.
Adele Heineman from the Aquarium of New Zealand knows that as these shellfish get older, they grow the strongest beards in the world.
I apologize if you could hear my neck popping.
It seems that, just like Samson, the secret of the muscle's strength is in its hair.
These little threads that we can see coming off
We
from
could,
the hair,
damn.
they're called byssus or byssal threads.
I'm
They're
very
ultra strong.
cringy.
They're kind of like our hair, made of amino acids, and the muscle places them on the rock with a little foot that it's got inside it, and then it glues them there tight and strong. That's why when you go to collect mussels and you pull them off the rock, they're stuck on really tight.
Imagine if we could produce glue from our feet. We'd find ourselves in a really sticky situation.
Did they glue that little girl's feet to the floor? There's a zombie? I only saw the ghost.
Us, mussels want to stick around.
Apparently
forever.
you can do a specific
So
trick-or-treat thing with him, but I think that costs bits.
Buffet and into the
Maybe somewhere down where the panels are, but I think, yeah, I think it costs
The shipping
bits.
industry is really interested in this glue that the mussels can produce, because even the best glues that we produce at the moment aren't as strong as this mussel glue. They break down after a short time in salt water, whereas this mussel glue lasts a lot longer.
Imagine what we could stick together with a little mussel super glue.
See, but the issue is that somebody would fucking stick themselves to, like, themselves. Sorry, my neck is still really bothering me. Okay. I just need somebody to break it, I think, at this point.
Researchers are excited about the potential of muscle power. Unfortunately, there's a catch. Scientists say you'll need to grind up 280,000 mussels just to make 1 ounce of glue.
Grind up? Why not just you? Well, this was like 20 fucking years ago.
Don't expect to see it on the shelf at your
I was gonna say, why not just like fucking look at the chemical makeup of it and remake it? It can't be that fucking hard to do that.
But it's still only number 9 in our extreme countdown.
How did he get his hand off his face?
Our way past the first 2 contenders. But soon, we'll grab the bull by the horn and lift the lid on animals so strong, they're the 8th wonder of the world. That's next on Animal Planet.
I imagine so.
Number 8.
At number 8 in our countdown of extreme strength is a monster that's powered its way into movie immortality. King Kong may have been the greatest ape in the world, but the animal that inspired the movie is far from monstrous. At number 8 in the countdown is the gorilla.
The gorilla.
We're fascinated with gorillas because we're remarkably similar, with one notable exception. Gorillas are much, much stronger. Not even the strongest humans on the planet can compare to the power of the gorilla. Imagine if you were a weightlifter at the Olympic Games.
So specific.
To compete for the gold medal, you'd have to be able to lift over 550 pounds. But what if you were as strong as a gorilla? You'd easily set a new world record by lifting 2 family cars. That's over 4,600 pounds. The real heavyweight champion of a gorilla troop is the silverback.
Remember the one handsome gorilla?
This
What
thing
handsome
is
gorilla?
So big and so strong that he dominates the rest of the family group. No wonder all the young males dream of one day finding enough gray fur on their back to become the boss of their own troop. But until then, they're happy trailing after their hero like little gorilla groupies.
For kids? That's probably their dad,
That's
bro.
because nothing's more impressive than a silverback throwing his weight around.
There was a gorilla at a zoo that had a lot of regular fans, most of them women who thought he was handsome. No?
The fights are short and to the point. Unlike the battles of some human gorillas, For back in 1984,
There's
two
a
of the
human
world's
gorilla.
strongest men ended up fighting for the title in court.
Yujiro Hanma and Baki?
Kazmaier from Alabama lifted
Oh.
logs, Playboy bunnies, and said he was the strongest man on earth. But then, so did John Wooten of Massachusetts, and he hauled trains, hoisted trucks, and held back racing cars.
I am simply the world's strongest man. I am the world's strongest man.
Look at that fucking mustache, bro. You sent me an article?
Kazmaier was
hold on.
so upset by his rival that he took him to court. Wooten responded by challenging Kazmaier to settle the dispute out of court. Kazmaier refused, claiming that Wooten's stunts were just tricks. In the end, the judge flexed his own judicial muscle and threw the case out of court. Although both men claimed victory, the fans were in no doubt.
Which is the world's strongest man? Kazmaier.
Sometimes even the strongest creatures have to learn to take a fall. Gorillas may be more than a match for the strongest men in the world, but they're still only number 8 in the countdown.
From powerful primates, bulging muscles, and brawny
When I finish this round, I'll open up
is
the
an
article.
animal so strong it slides right off the scales.
The snake!
That's next on
Oh, it's an anaconda! Is there gonna be like an ant? Probably. I feel like the winner's always some weird little fucking bug.
Floating into number 7 in our
That was a green
countdown of
anaconda.
extreme strength is the strongest animal in the Amazon.
Okay.
There's only one creature out here with enough muscle to make our countdown. And
I also have to take a second to mark something here, so I might as well just pause this. And it's not one long muscle, it's a lot of muscles. There's many muscles involved. They're like abs. The metrosexual gorilla? Why did they call him that? I want to say something. I'm just gonna say it. He looks like my grandpa. Like, his face is similar. Like, he's got the same eyes as my grandpa. Not a single ab. Lots of abs. Don't let the women of Japan find out about my grandpa. The sensitive eyes. He looks like my husband. I'd show a picture of my grandpa, but I don't want to do that. He looks like my grandpa. That's so weird. That's not racist, by the way. It's not because he's a gorilla, it's because he just looks like my grandpa. Like, he's got the same eyebrows. Like, the brow ridge is similar. And the eyes, and my look, there's a ghost again! Oh, there it goes. It's like, he's like, I don't know. My grandpa's nose isn't this big. But he kind of looks like my grandpa. That's so weird. That's so strange. It would be so awesome. It would be so cool. I don't know why that came to my brain. Anyway. Do people really go to the zoo because they thought the gorilla looked like their husband? That's so funny.
And it's not the Cayman crocodile.
Oh. Thought I had one that was just loose. I do have one that's just
Anaconda
loose.
is number 7 in the countdown because it's strong enough to squeeze the life out of anything.
Well, not anything, but... Well, it can squeeze... That's... Okay, never mind. It can squeeze the life out of anything. Whether or not it can swallow it. That is not always true. Okay. So the eyes have to be between... Oh, welcome back, Poppy.
How can a snake kill a crow?
The eyes have to be between 12 and 13 with 7 stitches between them.
From the St. Louis Zoo.
So I'm just going to mark this now.
Prey when they're using constriction as a method by biting using the neck as the first coil, and then several of the mid-body coils, which have a lot of power, and just tightening up, just as the snake is doing with some effect right now on my arm. You can see there's very little space there, and if I had a lung inside that arm, I would not have room to breathe, and that would be a big
If I had a lung inside that arm.
Prey item. So it's a muscular tightening of the coils and a rapid taking up of a...
Why is he choking? Oh, it's a wild anaconda. I was like, why the fuck is he choking it?
All that muscle can be deadly.
Okay. 7 stitches in between, it says.
But to really get to grips with muscles is no easy task. Every movement we make requires a vast network of nerves to connect our brain to the muscle fibers. That's because even the simplest task
this is so hard to see for some reason.
Of many muscles. You may not know it, but you're contracting more than 200 muscles just to walk.
4, 5, 6, 7.
The anaconda also has a big job coordinating its muscles. After all, weighing more than 3 men, this is the heaviest snake in the world, and much of that weight is pure muscle.
Oh look, they're gonna tell you about their muscles now, Bernie.
No wonder catching animals even the size of a deer is no problem.
This where his eyes will be. Can you see it? Can you picture him? Got 6 rows to go before I add the eyes.
For the deer, the anaconda is built for strength, not speed. So instead of chasing its prey, this snake lurks in the murky shallows.
What do you mean, luckily for the deer?
An opportunity to wrap its lunch in a deadly embrace.
Me when I get lunch.
Number 6.
These are some of the strongest feet on Earth. They're so powerful, they can crush bone. These are the feet of the ultimate winged predator, the eagle. It's number 6 in the countdown.
They should specifically use the harpy eagle, because the harpy eagle is like fucking insane.
The rainforest. And on the menu today is monkey a la canopy.
No, not the
For
monkeys.
this African crowned eagle, it's time for some takeout. Monkeys think they're safe because they're hiding inside the canopy. But this eagle has short wings, designed to let it maneuver through the branches. Catching the monkey's one thing, but carrying it is something beyond even our most powerful cargo planes. This Starlifter is one of the largest freight planes on Earth. It can carry up to 95,000 pounds. That's
a lot of
monkeys,
pounds.
But it's
Oh.
still only lifting about 2/3 of its operating.
Why did he say that? Why did he say that?
The eagle is number 6 in the countdown because it can carry up to 4 times its own weight.
Yeah, you're right, Bernie. It's probably gonna be a fucking ant at the end of this.
Eagle's massive muscles make it a super bird. Sometimes even the most ordinary people can possess superhuman strength.
Like Yujiro Hanma.
Some superheroes are made not by radioactivity, spinach, or by the wearing of underwear over their trousers. Sometimes ordinary citizens can save the day thanks to
Adrenaline. Yeah.
In a crisis,
Not
our
the
body
pet psychic.
calls on our very own emergency response center, the adrenal glands. They produce hormones
Why is
like
my phone water
adrenaline
babying?
that sends the body into action mode. And this is how sometimes people can get superhuman strength.
This beat goes kind of hard.
But even some eagles need help from a superhero. These are stellar sea eagle chicks. To survive, they're going to have to out-muscle the competition.
Oh no, more babies that kill other babies.
High in the Arctic Circle, their parents can only feed one chick. So the weaker of the two will be bullied to death.
No!
No wonder eagles are the strongest birds in the world. Right from the moment they hatch, they discover that only the strong survive.
Not all eagles do that, though. I'm pretty sure not all eagles do that.
Eagles may be strong, but they're still only flying at number 6 in the countdown. Coming up are animals so strong that civilizations were built on their backs.
Horses! Camels, probably. Either horses or camels.
This 97-pound weakling. That's coming up next.
I'm sorry?
Planets, the most.
Why did you call that child a 97-pound weakling?
Number 5.
The next contender
This yarn
in our
is starting to
countdown
piss
of
me off.
extreme strength proves
It'll
that
loosen
not
up
all
eventually so I can pull at it easier, but at the moment I'm just like...
For in Asia, road hogs are actually road cows.
Excuse me. Oh, cows! That also makes sense.
Pulling in to number 5 is the ox, the big rig of the animal world.
With the
It's
ox,
a
same
green
fucking
machine
thing, whatever.
Because it runs all day on nothing but hay. For 6,000 years, the ox has helped us carry heavy loads. But in the wild, their cousins have a different use for their massive strength. These raging bulls are fighting for females. For when push comes to shove, only the strongest male will take home the herd.
I think we as a society should start doing this. Maybe not, actually.
Our ancestors were
Now that I think
obviously
about it,
impressed by the
maybe
strength
not.
of oxen, which is why they became the farm vehicle of choice. Even today, 4 out of every 10 cattle in the world are kept as draft animals. No wonder some people try to be as strong
4 out
as
of
an
10. Why
ox.
didn't they just say 2 out of 5?
While these human oxen may be strong, Just like a wild bull, it pays not to make them see red.
Wow. Just threw him straight into that fucking river.
Number 4.
These are the
Tiger babies. Oh my god. Look at them. Little tiger cubs.
Baby Bengal tigers are number 4 in the countdown because when they grow up, they'll become the biggest and strongest cats in the world.
You think tigers are soft?
A fully grown tiger can leap over 20 feet and stand 10 feet tall. But even this big baby retains a fondness for
Big
milk.
baby. Gotta respond to a message.
Take a close look at a tiger, and you can clearly see the bulging muscles that became an inspiration for one of the world's most famous muscle men. Charles Atlas was once a 97-pound weakling. But then, after watching big cats at the local zoo, he developed a series of exercises based on dynamic tension. He transformed not only his body, but his wallet, because he sold his plan to millions, and so became the grandfather of the modern fitness industry.
Do you think that works?
In the U.S. alone, people spend $10 billion a year exercising. Firmer butts and stronger abs may be only a credit card number away, but you could never buy muscles like a tiger. It's hard to imagine just how strong the tiger really is when you see it at rest. Those enormous muscles in the paws and jaws seem harmless when used against pesky flies.
Harmless? Look how big those fucking paws are, excuse me?
But when the tiger is hungry, all that power is focused into one explosive charge.
I'm gonna keep talking about Baki because this episode's about strength. There's a character in Baki that was able to start a kung fu like dojo thing where he got to teach kids how to do kung fu because he fought a tiger and won.
A single bite is strong enough to sever the spinal cord. And then the tiger uses its enormous strength to drag its meal to a safe spot. How would you like to be strong enough to lift a domestic cow over a 6-foot-high wall? No wonder we're scared of tigers.
Hondo. Jaguars are able to pull their prey into trees. I don't know if tigers do that though, I can't remember. Oh god, it's vicious, no!
But luckily for us, tigers spend more time sleeping than hunting.
What did you do?
Perhaps they're exhausted from exercising
I don't
using
know.
Mr. Atlas's dynamic tension.
So far, we've trained with tigers, battled with bulls,
Battled with
and
bulls.
even with eagles.
Whoa.
Coming up, our sisters so strong they give new meaning to girl power. That's next on Animal Planet.
What the fuck was that?
Extreme.
What the fuck was that? Oh, well, thank you for the sub. You can always refresh. If you need to refresh, go ahead and refresh, because sometimes it doesn't like do anything. Look at my cool mug. It's huge. Looking like LimeWire, bro. You're really showing your age there.
Chewing its way into number 3 in the countdown is the leaf cutter ant.
Oh, there's your ant, Bernie.
It may be small, but it can carry slices of leaf more than 50 times its own weight.
Whoa. It's a lot of leaf.
Imagine if you were as strong as an ant.
Still upset Bernie didn't know Cha-Cha? What is Cha-Cha?
If you could lift like an ant, you'd never need a tow truck. That's because every time you had engine trouble, you could simply pick up the vehicle and carry it to the mechanic.
That's ridiculous. Google before Google?
Raising
Oh.
50 times your weight
I've never heard of
would
that.
be like lifting a truck weighing more than 6,500 pounds. And you'd be able to carry it an incredible 8 miles.
I may have to make the eyes further
Ants
apart
are
because I
so
used a bigger
strong
hook.
that just
Maybe I
imagine
shouldn't have
what
used a
would
bigger
happen
hook
to
for
our
Mothman,
world
but that's okay.
if they grew a
Text
little
it any
larger.
question back when you didn't have internet on every phone. Oh. I think. Hold on. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
H.G. Wells' Empire of the Ants. For they shall inherit the earth sooner than you think.
If we're lucky, leafcutter ants will inherit the earth because they're strictly vegetarian. And it would be a world run by females because all worker ants are sisters. This is one case where females are definitely not the weaker sex.
Excuse me?
Human females, however, have muscles that are on average 20% smaller than a male's. That's because men produce more of the muscle-building hormone testosterone. But women can still be as strong as men, so long as they exercise those muscles. Everyone grows muscles if they exercise, even your grandma. Just look at Elma Beck. She's won national powerlifting titles and has broken numerous U.S. age group records. Not bad for a 75-year-old super granny. It just goes to show that anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Although not even leafcutter ants are strong enough to take on every intruder. These soldiers will fight to the death, trying to protect the most powerful ant of all. The ant queen controls the whole colony and is as big as a mouse. No workers dare step out of line with this mother. This queen rules an army so powerful that in only a few hours, it can strip all the leaves from a tree. But our next contender's so strong, it just rips the whole tree out of the ground.
This episode's about strength.
Number 2.
What's big, gray, and strong enough to be number 2 in the countdown? The elephant, the strongest land mammal on the planet. When it comes to moving timber, in some societies, nothing works better.
I may have to go back a couple rows. Because unless I counted wrong, which is also highly likely, but I'm almost done with the body, so.
Have been built on the
I
back
hope
of
not.
the elephant.
Well, not the body, but.
But it wasn't just their enormous strength that got them the job. Elephants respond to over 40 commands, most of them unspoken. Try to do that with a logging truck. Asian elephants may be smart, but they're not as strong as their African cousins. That's because African elephants are huge. How would you like to get between two bull elephants with a combined weight of 10 tons? Elephants are so strong that nothing stands in their way. The advantage of being so big and so strong is that nothing's brave enough to eat you. Such jumbo-sized animals could have difficulty reaching things to eat themselves if it wasn't for that amazing trunk. It's extraordinarily versatile. It's good for feeding and drinking. It can both suck and blow, sniff and feel, and even be used as a snorkel for breathing underwater. It's the most sensitive part of the elephant's body, and yet it's strong enough to lift more than 600 pounds. It takes baby elephants a couple of years to master all the tricks of a trunk, because it's incredibly complicated. Just like the human arm, the trunk is made up of 6 major muscle groups. But there are no bones inside the trunk. Instead, the muscles are subdivided into more than 100,000 separate units, which can be controlled to make the trunk as versatile as the human hand.
Why am I missing 2 stitches? What did I do? Okay, hold on. I may have fucked up somewhere. But unfortunately, this is part of crochet. Is that sometimes you get overconfident and you stop paying attention. And then you fuck up somewhere. Okay, hold on. I'm glad I saw that before it got like... before I was like done with it and realized it looked funny.
Bags of grain are enough incentive for an elephant to push over a building. But even this isn't enough to take the elephant to the top of our extreme countdown.
We've seen the 9 contenders. They're the best of the best. Only one animal is a more extreme muscle machine. It's number 1. And it's coming up next on Animal Planets.
This one also has 40. Why?
Number 1.
Should have 42.
The most extreme power lifters in the countdown have been immortalized in museum collections all over the world.
Oh, is it fucking dinosaurs?
Their huge skeletons are a lasting
like just mammoths?
awesome power. But don't bother looking in the galleries, for the number 1 animal in the countdown is kept in a drawer.
Is it a dinosaur beetle?
The strongest animal in our extreme countdown is the rhinoceros beetle. It's #1 because wait for weight, this is the strongest animal on the planet.
Oh, okay. It's not like a prehistoric, it's just a regular beetle. Okay. I thought it was gonna be like a fucking prehistoric beetle, and I was gonna be like, what the fuck, bro?
A female beetle inside a special log to encourage the males to do what they do best. Bets are placed on which beetle is the strongest.
Okay, this one only has 41. So I think I gotta go down one more.
The winner gets the girl, and the
That's
loser
kind of frustrating.
gets thrown off the log.
That's the worst part of this. Genuinely is the worst part of crocheting, is realizing that you messed up somewhere and having to figure out where so you can fix it.
Estimated that a rhino beetle can lift 800
Because otherwise I would have
times its
noticed
own
it when
weight.
having to decrease, and that would have sucked.
Imagine if we were as strong as this armor-plated insect. That would be like us lifting a tank. All 65 tons of it. So why is the rhino beetle so strong? Well, for its size, it has far more muscles than we do. These beetles don't have bones. Their muscles are inside their skeleton. So all that armor plating means there's many more places for muscles to attach to. And so, with more muscles inside
Also
a
has
strong
41.
skeleton,
Where did
the
I go
rhinoceros
wrong?
beetle gets the No wonder then, when it comes to strength, the rhinoceros beetle really is the most extreme.
Jeff searching through the rainforest of Costa Rica, keeping his eyes open for that special find.
Some people bite off more than they can chew.
This one has
but
42.
they're
Okay,
no
so
match for the biggest, baddest biters in the natural world.
oh my god, it's mole rat.
We're counting down the top 10 most extreme biters in the animal kingdom and comparing them to your dentist's worst nightmares. Stand by for the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth. When
That was frustrating.
bitings
I'm
take
glad
'em to
I
the
figured that
most
out though.
Extreme.
Dude, this episode is about me.
Earth is a planet of extremes. Extreme places and extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others. Join us as we count down to find the most unusual and the most extraordinary on Animal Planet's The Most Extreme.
Extreme. I should be counting.
Flying in to number 10 is an animal that really gets under your skin. Meet the mosquito, the smallest and deadliest creature in the countdown. You can't escape from this flying bloodhound because it tracks us down by following the most minute traces of carbon dioxide from our breath. The mosquito is the mother of all biters, because it's only the female that uses her amazing proboscis to suck our blood. It's human blood that nourishes mosquito eggs. So that's why the female has the most complicated biting apparatus in the countdown. It's a combination of Swiss Army knife, hypodermic needle, and vacuum cleaner. But once she's tapped into a blood vessel, our problems have only just begun. For traveling in her saliva are some deadly hitchhikers. And that's why the mosquito's number 10 in the countdown. Her bite can be lethal. But it took us a while to make the connection. 100 years ago, the scourge of the American military was yellow fever, or yellow jack. An army doctor thought the disease was spread by mosquitoes. But to prove it, he needed some human guinea pigs.
You've come to volunteer. Do you men know the risk? Yes, sir. Gentlemen, I salute you.
Sure enough, once the volunteers were bitten, they picked up the parasite transmitted by mosquito spit. But yellowjack is only one of the diseases spread by the mosquito's deadly bite.
Apparently, they found a way to, like,
malaria.
trans the mosquito's gender, basically, and forcibly turn it into a male so that it can't bite you.
The mosquito may be deadly.
I don't remember how it works, but apparently they found that out, which I'm like, that's really interesting. When do we get— there's a ghost! How do we get to apply this so that they don't exist anymore? Because mosquitoes don't do anything for us as a society. As a society. They don't do anything in the ecological system besides, like, feed certain creatures.
To find number 9 in the countdown, Oregon zookeeper Jay Haight has to pull out all the stops.
What the fuck is he doing?
You can see him actually run through the opening here.
Oh, it's a mole rat.
Gotta give him time to climb. There he goes.
What is he doing?
Check him out by now. He ought to be coming down. And there he goes. Okay, there's only one way out now. Pop this open. And in he goes.
Oh, he's putting him in a box.
Do you have one?
Meet the naked mole rat.
Why is he holding it like that?
It's a harmless rodent that spends its life beneath the plains of Africa building tunnels with its teeth. It's number 9 in the countdown because it needs a jaw-dropping massive muscle.
Oh, I'm gonna lean back for
The
2
muscles
seconds
on a
because my
human
back
body
hurts.
make up nearly half our body weight. The biggest muscles are attached to our legs and arms. To chew our food, we move our jaw using only about 1% of our muscle mass. But imagine if we were like the naked mole rat. If we spent our lives tunneling with our
What the
teeth,
fuck?
our jaw muscles would make up a quarter of our muscle mass. These buck-toothed beauties are an orthodontist's nightmare. But naked mole rat moms don't lose any sleep over their offspring's overbite, unlike humans.
Thanks, Saeed. You're welcome.
Add a lot to Dorothy's smile. Doesn't Jerry look healthy and happy? And what about Eleanor? Yes, everyone is thinking about his teeth this morning. The nurse has come to talk about dental health.
I'm gonna do a
Not
stretch.
everyone has such healthy teeth.
Oh, my arms.
Look at Sam. Sam has never taken very
Oh my
good
God.
care of his teeth. Judy's teeth are not growing in right. She needs dental assistance too.
Well, that's not
Perhaps a
her
set of
fault.
braces like Tom's.
Oh, I thought his teeth were covered in tar. They're just
Today,
braces.
Tom and Judy would join an estimated 5 million Americans of all ages that are braced
I'm
for better
popping
teeth.
my body. Ugh. Gotta stretch my
But
arms.
the only thing this naked mole rat's braced for is action. He's got
Ow.
concrete reasons for liking
My
his
pectoral
teeth, just
muscles
the way they
started
are.
cramping. Ow! That doesn't make any sense.
Right now,
Just trying
given enough time, they could
to
actually chew
stretch
through the cement.
so that I can continue doing this, and I'm getting like a why?
Those chambers are specially constructed with acrylic.
Why?
And then some steel mesh, and then some material known as hydrostone. And the object here is to keep them from chewing through the hydrostone into the steel mesh, because then you have a nightmare for chamber repair.
Trying to roll out my wrist and
As you can see, they're a little on the feisty side.
my hands.
And
I need to find that. I had found a video about stretching for people who crochet.
Won't be the first time.
I need to find that so I can do it more.
It's just
Look at
another
him!
casualty to add to the list of people injured by the most extreme biters
He's
on the
just a
planet.
little guy.
We've seen mini miners and toothless terrors, but get ready to brush up on biters that scare us to death when they get right in your face.
Me?
That's next on the most.
I'm next up on the list. I didn't even know my pectoral muscle, like my pec, would cramp. That was so weird. It still kind of hurts. Didn't know that was a thing that could happen though.
Slithering into our countdown of extreme biters is the snake.
I'm a slither little snaky snake.
Every year, over 7,000 Americans have close encounters of the venomous kind. And on average, 15 of these will be fatal. We die because venomous snakes bite with teeth shaped like hypodermic needles. And in the Australian outback are the worst biters of all. Snakes
Me.
are number 8 in the count.
Dude, I can't believe Cappy is one of the worst biters of all. My blankie looks so cute. I'm glad you like it.
500,000 mice, or 100 people.
I was trying to go for something new,
Baby
you know?
taipans are lethal. But even natural-born biters occasionally bite off more than they can chew. Luckily, bite-sized portions are not far away.
No.
Although only 10% of snakes are venomous, it pays to stay well clear of any animal that bites first and ask questions later. But at this extreme snake show in Thailand, one man bites back.
Huh?
But without venom, even our best bite can't match the horror of snake bite.
Ew.
Already we've been rattled by rattlers, munched by mole rats,
I'm sorry?
and bled by bugs. But that's
We were what?
child's play compared to the deadliest game in the world. That's next on the most extreme. Sydney, Australia is home to the next contender in our countdown of extreme biters. Crawling in to number 7 is the funnel web spider.
Oh my god.
The funnel web
That's fucking
strikes
gross.
like lightning.
Oh, I don't like looking at it. Oh, I don't like looking at it.
Those enormous fangs inject paralyzing venom deep into their prey. And they're strong enough to drive through a lizard's skull. But their fearsome fangs are no use when it comes to eating. That's why funnel webs have a different way of digesting their dinner.
Gross.
Imagine if we ate like a funnel web spider. A pair
I don't
of
want
fangs
to.
would be great for killing food, but
I-
useless for chewing. So we'd have to make ourselves
Okay.
a little liquid lunch. Funnel webs throw up special enzymes that turn their meal into a soup that's simply sucked up. The problem is that funnel webs don't eat hamburgers and don't always stay out in the garden.
Ugh.
The funnel web is
Why
one
is
of
it
the
so
world's most
big?
dangerous spiders. It can sink its fangs through your fingernail and inject a poison that can be lethal, especially for children.
Why is it aggressive, too?
In the last 80 years, over a dozen people have been killed by funnel webs. But at the Australian Reptile Park, some spiders
Oh
are
my God,
helping
excuse
save
me.
lives. Mary Rayner has one of the most extreme jobs on Earth. She milks killer spiders.
Thank you.
Funnel webs are so aggressive that when provoked, venom drips from their fangs. All you need is a steady hand and nerves of steel to suck up the poison into a glass straw.
Thank God they can't jump.
The venom then gets used in the manufacture of an antidote to the spider's deadly bite. At least the funnel web spider no longer has our fate in its fangs.
I mean, if you don't get there fast enough, it still does, but you know.
Life on the plains of Africa is as hectic as any city sidewalk, but this
Yeah?
crosswalk is patrolled by a cold-blooded killer. Jaywalkers
Crocodile.
don't stand a chance.
The Nile is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay.
The The crocodile is number 6 in the countdown because those jaws slam shut like a steel trap. Powered by enormous muscles, the crocodile's bite strength has been estimated at 200 kilograms per square centimeter.
That's a
more
lot.
than 10 times stronger than the average human bite. That means all 60 cone-shaped teeth are driven into flesh with the force of a sledgehammer. Once a
That's a
crocodile
lot.
has its teeth in you,
What's my
it's
phone?
almost impossible to escape.
$18. 2 more.
A lineup of these massive jaws and teeth is a terrifying sight. For more than just fish are on the menu.
Fish.
Any living thing that enters the water is a potential meal. In waters around the world, each year crocodiles claim an estimated 2,000 lives.
That's a lot. It's a lot of lives.
Crocs can hold their breath for up to an hour, which means they can swim right into the shallows in front of you. When
Terrible.
a croc attacks, usually there's no warning. You'll never know what
Why
hit
would
you.
there be warning?
Crocs even fought in World War II.
I'm
The
sorry?
British in Burma had the Japanese army surrounded on an island. 1,000 men tried to escape through croc-infested swamps. After
Bro,
the
that's fucked up.
crocodiles attacked, only 20 made it out alive.
That's fucked up.
Even
And
today,
people
in
are afraid of
Australia's northern
piranhas.
Territory, cunning crocs associate visitors
I like
with
how
food.
half of this fucking episode has just been stuff
But
from
these
Australia.
crocs have to dance for their dinner. With these extreme biters, it really does pay to keep your hands inside the vehicle at all times. Despite the crocodile's determination to get ahead, it's still only number 6 in the countdown. Because coming up are nightmare creatures who really do want to suck your blood.
That
It'll
aren't
be a
mosquitoes?
real riot as we open the door on the world's most extreme
Oh,
biters.
bed bugs.
Next on the most extreme.
How did I do that? Because I wasn't looking, that's how I did that.
No one's safe from the next contender in our countdown of extreme biters. Insatiable blood-sucking biters really do exist, which is why
Me.
the vampire bat
Oh, it is a
creeps
it's
into
a vampire
number
bat.
5 in the countdown. Fall asleep
not
in
me.
Central and South America, and you're instantly on the menu. The tricky part's getting
Well,
the
don't they
blood
usually
without
go
waiting to
after
see it.
animals? I was
That's
about to
why
say.
these extreme biters have a numbing anesthetic in their saliva. Wouldn't it be great to have the bat's pain-killing spit the next time you're at the dentist?
I'm sorry?
The vampire
What's happening to
doesn't
you
have
at the
to worry
dentist?
about the dentist because it has fewer teeth than any other bat. Who needs to chew their food when there's a specially grooved tongue to lap up their bloody meal?
Look at his funny little
The next
face.
day, there's little evidence that the bat's been feeding. If only Dracula was as subtle as a real vampire. But then Dracula's not the only human with a distinctive bite. Dentists can easily identify patients because our 32 teeth leave a bite that's as unique as a fingerprint. Forensic dentistry can catch criminals and identify bodies. And people have been polishing these skills for centuries. During the Revolutionary War, an American general by the name of Joseph Warren was killed at Bunker Hill. His body was buried in an unmarked grave. A year later, it was decided to dig him up for a proper burial. But the search for the dead general came to a dead end because no one could tell the various bodies apart. Finally, a Boston dentist identified the fallen hero by his distinctive dental work. The world's first forensic dentist had already galloped into the pages of history. For dentist Paul Revere is more famous for riding like a bat out of hell. Vampire bats are also famous because these extreme biters will sink their teeth into any large mammal. Of course, with their anesthetic spit, we never notice that bats find us finger-licking good. We love dogs. You can find a dog in more than a third of all American homes. Today, in the United States alone, the dog population exceeds 50 million. But man's best friend has a dark side. Dogs are number 4 in the countdown because sometimes their bite is much, much worse than their bark. Each year, more than 4.7 million Americans are bitten by dogs.
Oh.
Domestic dogs are now found in so many homes that each year you've got a 1 in 50 chance of being bitten.
Why did they use a pit bull?
And sometimes those
Why
bites can
did they
be deadly.
use a pit bull?
In the United States alone, it's estimated dogs will kill 17 people. That's more deaths than from the bites of grizzlies, gators, and spiders combined. Dogs can be dangerous because when it comes to biting, they're not very different from their ancient ancestor, the wolf. They still have powerful jaws and teeth for tearing flesh and breaking bone. For some dogs,
okay.
biting
Let
can
me
be such a
count this
problem
and make sure
that
my
worried
counter's
owners
right.
take their pampered pooch to
Well,
a doctor
okay, let me do this
who's
last one.
really gone
Never
to
mind.
the dogs.
Where's my brain at?
At this practice in Manhattan Beach, California,
Beep,
dog
beep,
bites
ouch.
are big business because Dr. David Nielsen is a veterinary dentist. Today's patient is being fitted with braces.
What? You can put braces on a dog?
What's happening with this dog is that the top incisors are moving to the back, and so they're actually hitting on the lower incisors. And so when they hit on the lower incisors, they'll actually move them, and that will create an opening for infection. And what we're going to do is end up with a healthy mouth.
Oh, what?
But David and his team don't just
I didn't
give
know you
dogs
could
perfect
give dogs
smiles.
braces.
He's found a way to take the bite out of some canine criminals.
What, by removing the
What we do
teeth?
with dogs that have a bad reputation as a biter is obviously first we go through dog trainers, and if they actually basically call a class 5 would be a bite where you actually draw blood. And their rule of thumb is that if a dog is bitten that hard, they can't be trained to not bite. It's like asking a person to never get angry. I mean, it's impossible. And so what we do is that actually we'll take off the canine right at about this level, halfway below the level of the incisors, because the way a dog bites is that canine tooth tears. And so you take the dog from being a biter into a pincher. But psychologically it changes them because they just all of a sudden are much more mellow. We've done this on a number of dogs and without problems afterwards, so it's kind of a neat way to save their lives.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Thanks to Dr. Nielsen,
Can we do that to my dog?
even the most extreme biters can dream of being both man and woman's best friend.
Excellent dog. What a good day.
Except the vets would never believe me if I said Poppy was actually evil, because he's apparently just so good for them and so sweet, and he doesn't cry, he lets them love on him, and I'm like, I don't know what fucking creature you got back there, but that's not my dog.
But coming up is an animal with such a foul mouth, it can bowl over a buffalo. That's next on The Most Extreme. Falling in to number 3 in the countdown is the Komodo dragon.
Oh shit.
On remote islands of Indonesia, these giant lizards reign
Komodo
supreme.
dragon.
Komodo dragons are number 3 in the countdown because just one bite is all it takes to bring down an animal the size of a buffalo.
Okay, let's check our work now.
Dragons have the world's worst halitosis. Inside its mouth, festering meat trapped in the Komodo's teeth turns its saliva into a bacterial broth. Just one bite is enough to cause a fatal infection.
My brain's not working.
And then, it's feeding time.
Okay, cool. We're at 20. So now we can add the eyes.
Komodo dragons have more than 60 teeth, and all of them are as sharp
Eyeballs.
and serrated as steak knives. Its teeth are almost as deadly as
I wonder
the
if it should have gotten
bacteria in its
bigger
septic
ones,
saliva.
but probably not.
But then human mouths are also full of bacteria.
Why would you say that?
The bacteria may not be deadly, but they do cause the most common disease in the world.
Gingivitis.
Tooth decay.
Oh.
Our teeth are under attack by billions of bacteria that grow in a layer called plaque. When we eat sugary foods, so do the bacteria. They turn the sugars to acid.
I feel like his eyes aren't big enough.
Into tooth enamel. But our body can fight back. Our spit is full of minerals that replace the ones dissolved away by plaque acids. Each day you produce about a liter of saliva, which means in your lifetime,
Look at him.
you make enough saliva to fill a swimming pool.
Ew. Look at him. He's got eyes now.
Liters of spit.
Ooh. I think that's a good place for his eyes, right? They don't seem too close together or far apart. Right?
Komodo
Right?
dragons are such
Oh, look, there's
efficient
the zombie. I
fighters
see it.
that they hardly ever strike out when they come up to bat.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's a good place for his eyes? I think they should be further apart. I think I should have got them actually a little bit bigger. I probably shouldn't have used
Is no match for our
a
next
5 hook,
contender.
but it's fine. Now I know that I shouldn't make him bigger. I should use the 4. Did I use the 4 on Slenderman? I don't remember. I feel like I used the 5.
In Kenya, this peaceful pond is home to the hippopotamus.
Dude, Mudang. I don't want to put the backs on the safety eyes yet. Because I'm like nervous.
They look so graceful that it's hard to imagine.
I feel like
why
I should make them
hippos
further
should be
apart.
number
I don't know
2
why.
in the countdown.
What do you think? Do you think they should be further apart?
But making eye contact with a hippo
I'm looking at like the
could be
picture on the
last
book,
thing you ever do.
and I'm like, I feel like they should be further apart. No.
The hippopotamus is number 2 in the countdown because any trespasser will quickly learn that it's one murderous mammal.
Oy. It's like, this is the picture. But mine's bigger. But so, his eyes are really far apart in the picture.
At the Honolulu Zoo,
And then this one's
keeper
mine.
Mary Rosalowicz knows exactly how dangerous hippos can be.
Oh, now I have to fight with my
Hippos
book again.
kill
Fuck.
more people in the wild than any other animals, including like lions and tigers and bears. All the ones that you think are really dangerous. They're very territorial. They don't eat people, they just chew them up.
Yeah, hippos are fucking scary, bro.
They can open their jaw.
The eyes are further in the book, but I don't know if I should make them further.
Their lower canines get up to
You think
20
it's
inches
fine?
long, and they're razor sharp, and they can kill each other with a single bite.
And it's this extreme bite that puts the hippo in at number 2 in the countdown. A male hippo has a mouth that opens more than a meter wide.
Okay.
But a big mouth comes in handy when it's time for a dental checkup. Not that hippos need much more than a quick fish floss.
Okay, let me see.
In
I'm
fact,
thinking.
their teeth are so strong, they inspired the earliest dentists. There was a time when false teeth were crafted from hippo ivory. In fact, it was a hippopotamus that gave George Washington his ring of confidence.
That's not true. That's actually not true.
Porcelain teeth were an improvement, but they still didn't have the same shine as natural teeth. So, in 1942, they mixed in uranium to add a real...
Oh. I would think porcelain teeth would be a bad idea, because wouldn't they break? Like glass? Okay, I'm gonna put the eyes, the backs of the eyes on them.
To the relief of 32 million Americans whose teeth go out at night. And even though they're number 2 in our countdown of extreme biters, it will be a relief to most hippos that these days, their teeth don't end up in the mouth of a president. We've seen the 9 contenders. They're
I feel
the
like this can
best
go
of the
on more,
best.
but I don't
Only
really know.
one animal is a more extreme biting machine.
Hello, deputy.
Number 1. And it's coming up next on the most extreme.
Hondo. Oh, I lost a safety eye. No, where was it? Okay, well, so the backs of these are really hard to put on. That's good to know. We're putting the eyes on Mothman. Hi, Michael.
The most extreme biting animal in the countdown lives in the sea. But it's
See,
not
they
what
still
you
they look
expect.
too close together.
For when it comes to biting, what could be better than Jaws?
Okay, what about there? Do you think that looks okay?
Surely nothing could compete with the
Stop it.
great white shark.
Where's my fucking camera? Other way. I hate that it's mirrored. Yeah? Okay. Oh, okay, I got one safety eye on. I just have to get the other one on.
White shark is a bloodthirsty biter that could easily be number 1 in the countdown. After all, it's always on the lookout for something to sink its teeth into.
Me too.
And they
Oh,
go
thank you,
through
Bernie.
teeth like nothing on earth.
Ouch.
That's because
Oh,
the
I
shark
hate safety
is
eyes.
constantly replacing old teeth with newer, sharper versions.
It takes so much, like, hand strength to put safety eyes
Wouldn't
on,
it be nice if
and
we
I
weren't
don't
quite
have
so attached
a
to
lot of
our
that.
teeth?
So,
All 32 adult teeth are firmly anchored in our jaws.
I have the hiccups.
Our teeth are meant to last us a lifetime.
I'll take a
But
sip of
then
water.
we don't put as much strain on our teeth as a shark. The average human bite strength is only
jerk.
about 21 kilograms per square centimeter. Compare that to a shark.
A jerk.
Their jaws are estimated to generate forces 100
Oh my
times
God, there
more
we go.
powerful. We'd go through a few teeth as well. If our bite strength topped the
And that makes
scales
sure
at 2,800
they're so hard to put on so that they don't
kilograms
come
per
off
square
easily. So, like,
centimeter.
it makes sense, but it's still
But
frustrating.
not even the great white shark could take
Anyway.
on the U.S. nuclear
Now we have to put some
submarine
stuffing
fleet
in him.
and win. The #1 most extreme biter in the countdown earned its place because back in the 1970s, it forced a nuclear submarine to return to base. Something attacked the layer of neoprene rubber covering the sensitive sonar dome in the bow.
Was it an orca?
Careful study showed that the submarine had been hit by something that removed a perfect plug of rubber, 5 centimeters wide and 6 centimeters deep.
Oh.
It looked like the attacker had just come straight from the kitchen. The plugs in the neoprene rubber looked as though they had been sliced by a cookie cutter. And
Oh.
that's just what happened.
What the fuck was it?
For these teeth belong to the most extreme biter in the countdown, the cookie cutter shark. It's #1 because, for its size, the cookie cutter has the largest teeth of any shark in the sea. But it
How big
doesn't
is it?
normally eat submarines.
Well, I would hope not.
Nobody's ever filmed what goes on far beneath the waves.
Okay.
But scientists
5 and
know
then a
that the
decrease.
cookie cutter, one of the smallest sharks in the world, hunts the biggest animals on the planet. Whales, not nuclear submarines, are the normal diet of the cookie cutter shark. And that's what makes this biter #1 in the countdown. It feeds by sinking those incredible teeth into the side of a whale and then lifting out a cookie-shaped piece of flesh before the whale, or submarine, knows what hit it. No wonder then, when it comes to biting, the cookie cutter shark really is the most
extreme.
We're pretty smart. But are there Einsteins in the natural world? We're counting down the top 10 animals with the most extreme smarts and seeing how they compare to our best brains in the business. Discover that a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing when thinking's taken to the most extreme.
Earth is a planet of extremes. extreme places and extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others. Join us as we count down to find the most unusual and the most extraordinary on Animal Planet's The Most Extreme. Number 10.
Dogs are much more than man's best friend. They're number 10 in the countdown because dogs are smart enough to be man's best golf buddy.
What?
Dogs can understand up to 200 words and phrases, which makes them about as smart as the average 2-year-old, and a lot less of a handicap to play golf with.
Wow.
You can really count on dogs, and some of them can count too.
How many clothespins in the right hand? Hurry up, loud. How many clothespins in the right hand? Hurry up, loud. Hurry up, loud. All right, how many in the left hand? Hurry up.
The only thing this dog was
Wow.
counting on was a treat for getting the trick right. But scientists have discovered that dogs really do have a basic mathematical ability. And it's all thanks to their ancestor, the wolf.
The wolf.
Because wolves live in large social groups, they need to know how many friends and enemies they have in the pack. That's why their brains are capable of some simple arithmetic. But when we domesticated the wolf, things changed a little.
Everybody was a friend. Great Dane, oh my god.
Breeds of domestic dog have smaller brains than the wolf. Perhaps because life is so much
Dude, look at that
easier
Saint
out in
Bernard.
the wild. And when it comes to thinking, sometimes size does matter.
Technically, aren't like Chihuahuas considered to have like the biggest brain per body of all the
Size of
dogs?
the organ we do our thinking with. The 3 pounds of gray wrinkled jelly we call our brain is made up of 100 billion nerve cells called neurons. And all those neurons firing their electrochemical messages produce enough tiny bursts of electricity to power a light bulb.
Good boy, Cam. Sit nicely. Good boy.
Meet Fraser.
Fit nicely.
His brain may not be very big, but handler Gloria Weeks relies on Fraser's intelligence and ability to learn. That's because Fraser is a guide dog.
Today, we were talking, like me and my mom, I was telling her about this dog recently. Her name is Gita. She saved her owner's life. He had let her outside. He was like an 85-year-old man. And he let her outside, and he fell. And he told her to go get help. And so she waited at the end of the driveway, like, because they live out in the country. Waited at the end of the driveway, kind of in the road. And the sheriff drove by and saw the dog and was like, oh, this dog must be lost. Let me see if I can get her in my car. And she wouldn't go in the car with him. She was just trying to lead him down the driveway. And so he eventually picked up that she was trying to take him somewhere. And so then he followed her and found her owner on the ground. And so the owner lived. He got some surgery for his hip, but he lived. And all because she saved his life. And I was thinking about it, and I talked about it with my mom, and I'm looking at Poppy, and I'm like, would he do the same for me? I don't think he would. I have no way of knowing. Because he's so strange. Like, I know when I had my Pyrenees, he would have, 1000%. He would have done the same. He would have found help. because that's the type of dog he was. I don't know if I can say the same for Poppy. I really don't know if I can say the same for him.
We invented languages
Oh, my
to
nose itches.
communicate. Well, bees are number 9 in the countdown because they've also invented a way of talking to each other about
And now he's just
food.
sleeping on my bed, like nothing matters. Dog or anything. But I'd like to think that, like, you know, something happened in my room, God forbid, you know, and I got hurt, I fell, you know, hit my head on, like, my mini fridge or my desk or something, because my desk is glass and I hurt myself, that he would get help.
Imagine if we had to communicate like the honeybee. First of all, the scout bee.
I mean, like, if I couldn't, like, be like, oh my god, I just hit my head, somebody take me to the hospital, I feel like he would get help.
When
I
the
would hope
workers are
anyway.
gathered, she tells them there's food nearby with a little bee boogie.
Oh shit, look at him go. Look at her go.
Scientists call this repeated pattern of movements the round dance. But if the food's a long way off, she's able to tell her sisters the exact location by breaking out the waggle dance. The angle of her waggle on the hive's dance floor corresponds to the angle between her food source and the sun. And the number of times she shakes her booty indicates just how far away the food is.
That's
All
crazy.
that remains is to show her sisters just what kind of food they're looking for.
Ew.
Hopefully the
I feel like
dance
they
will
should have
not be
used
coming to a nightclub near you.
bees instead of people there, but you
Scientists
know.
are seldom seen in nightclubs either, which has left them lots
Wow.
of time to decode the incredible
Wow. That
And
was
they've even had
rude.
time to invent a way to talk to bees
Attacks
in
the
their
scientists
own
for no
language.
reason.
Robo-bee may look a little primitive, but this mechanical bee dances beautifully, especially for a bug with no legs. But scientists discovered
Those
that the
scientists
most
are gonna sick
important
bees
part
on
of
you
Robo-bee
because you said
is
that
the
they don't go to
nozzle that
nightclubs.
delivers a sample of nectar. Bees got very angry very quickly at any imposter that didn't throw up during the dance routine. Thanks to the work of scientists and Robo-bee, we're just
Thank you,
starting to
Robo-bee.
appreciate the incredible intelligence of the brainiest bugs in the countdown.
We may have outsmarted the first 2 contenders, but you'd better get your brain into gear. Because coming up, are animals so smart, they've really got something to sing about. That's next on Animal Planet's The Most
Extreme.
Venture number 8.
The next contender in our countdown of extreme smarts has to be clever to stay one jump ahead of the big bad wolf. No wonder pigs are number 8 in the countdown.
What? Oh, I understand the reference he's making. I was very confused for a second.
And some of the cleverest pigs in the world live in Toledo, Oregon.
Oh, is this the pigs from that one episode again? About the messy eaters or whatever?
Made themselves at home
Or the
with
hungriest
Bob
eaters?
and Connie Precious. Their house is home to 11 fully house-trained performing pigs. And the smartest of them all is Pig
It is. It's the same fucking family.
Okay, Pigstachio. It's a paint a picture. Okay. Now, what are we going to paint today? I think it'd be very appropriate to paint the American flag.
Why?
Let's paint. Let's paint it on. That's good. Up and down. Up and down. Good. Up and down. Up and down.
Oh, I did too many. Oops.
Red on your now. Just come on. Let me do the flag.
While it may
One,
not
two.
look much like a flag to us, It's an impressive effort for a pig.
3.
Very few pigs on the planet paint with such skill or sign their work with a hoof print.
Very
But
cool.
there's one extraordinary
Pigstachio.
human who may not be able to write, but who's a genius when it comes to drawing. Meet 11-year-old Stephen Wiltshire.
Why can't he write?
He has a mental age of 6 and severe
Oh.
learning disabilities, but he has one extraordinary talent. He can draw the most incredible pictures.
Oh, wow. Nope, that's the same one. Okay.
Stephen is an autistic savant. He can draw incredibly accurate pictures from memory, and experts have trouble explaining how he does it. They suggest
Brain.
that because specific parts of his brain don't work properly, abilities in other areas have been unlocked.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
While Connie Precious may have unlocked the artistic talents of Pigstachio, wild pigs have to concentrate on using their brain to find food and stay out of trouble. Sometimes it's a case of think fast or die faster.
Damn. $30 to 50 feral hogs.
Luckily, pigs are safe at Pigtasia, which means they're free to explore new ways of using their brain power and sharp reflexes.
Ready? Get the ball. Get the ball. Hurry up. And ham dunk it. Ham dunk it, Stashy. Yay! That was good.
It's amazing what you can teach a
Ooh.
pig, especially if you know the way to his brain is through his stomach. Which is why you still
Just
get
like
the
a
feeling
man.
that Pigstachio'd rather eat the ball than ham dunk it.
We've seen precious pigs, boogieing bees, and gifted guides. But don't touch that dial, because we're calling on another super smart animal. Next, on Animal Planets, the most extreme. Number
Oh,
7.
is this the last of this bag? It is. I'm just gonna pull this
Galloping
out.
in to number 7 in our countdown of extreme smarts is the horse.
What is? Oh, there's
For
little
scientists are discovering that when
like,
it comes
felt
to
things in
thinking,
here.
horses really do have something to celebrate.
Yeah, little yarn pieces. I was like, what the fuck is in here? Okay. Little pieces of yarn.
This horse is about to begin his daily workout, but the only muscle he's exercising is his brain, because he's being tested at the Equine Research Foundation in Aptos, California. So how do you
Holy
find
shit.
out what goes on inside a horse's head? Researchers have developed this system to discover if he can understand concepts such as large and small. Choose the small symbol and you get a tasty treat.
How do they know they're not just
This may
Pavloving
look
him into
like a
picking the
game,
right answer?
But researchers are discovering that horses are smarter than we thought. It seems that horses are thinking creatures that respond best to humans who acknowledge their minds and emotions.
Yes.
But
I
one
feel like we
doctor
should have been.
already
Oh, this was in the early 2000s. Never mind. I'm sorry. Is he on a giraffe?
A complex system of symbols. If you're Dr. Doolittle,
Oh.
Could I learn, Dr. Animal?
I don't see why not. You're quite intelligent.
I want you to teach me everything you know. I could talk to the animals.
back at the Equine Research Foundation, they can talk to the animals with sign language. It may not be a great conversation, but by discovering how horses learn, researchers are doing a lot to narrow the communication gap. All the proof you really need about equine intelligence comes straight from the horse's mouth.
Is it that silly little talking horse? That old TV show? Yeah! Yeah! I think people also seem to forget you can't
Get me Washington, D.C., Treasury Department.
you can't train stupid animals. Like, the animal has to be smart in order to be trained. Because it has to understand what you're wanting it to do.
In northern Japan, you have to be smart to survive the winter. And in this forest, animals don't get any smarter than the snow monkey.
Snow monkey! Are these the ones that go in the hot springs?
Because just like humans, snow monkeys are famous for their ability to learn. Imagine if you were stuck in the forest and there was a blizzard coming. Would you find shelter in a tree or do the intelligent thing and head to the bottom of the hill for a nice hot bath?
Why would I go in a tree?
30 years ago, this female snow monkey called Takiwa is thought to have seen people bathing in these hot pools. Unlike any monkey before her, the young Takiwa decided to join them.
Dude, these monkeys are in Monster Hunter.
Now the whole troop has learned to keep warm in the pool, in a classic case of monkey see, monkey do. It's this giant intellectual leap that pushed the snow monkey to number 6 in the countdown. After all, it's not easy coming up with totally original ideas.
Is there a reason why he's calling them
even
snow
if
monkeys
you're
and
the
not
most
macaques?
famous thinker in the world. In Germany in the late 1800s, one couple feared their child may have been mentally challenged because he didn't speak until he was 3. He did spend a lot of time building with blocks and spent hours and hours solving puzzles.
Maybe he didn't have anything to say.
Later in life, he'd say, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." That problem child was none other than Albert Einstein, who, relatively speaking, had the most brilliant mind of the 20th century.
I didn't know he didn't speak until he was 3.
Number 6 in the countdown.
I've been a
because,
yapaholic
just
my
like
whole life.
Einstein, they can occasionally come up with amazing conceptual leaps, even if sometimes youngsters can get a little too clever for their own good. But if there's one thing a snow monkey likes more than a hot bath, it's being groomed.
I'm sorry?
Grooming is not only the social glue that binds the troop together, but it's a practical way of getting rid of parasites, like lice and ticks. And some monkeys like grooming so much, they get a little carried away.
That's a deer.
Perhaps the expanse of fur on a deer is irresistible for monkeys that love to groom.
Oh no. They're grooming that deer. Somebody save
there's
him.
One super smart monkey that's found another use for the ticks it finds on deer. If you'd like to be groomed yourself, but you don't have any ticks of your own, you can borrow some.
Huh?
This monkey has learned that by adopting a deer tick, He can give his friends hours of fun combing through his fur.
Oh, well, that's kind of sweet.
Even though the snow monkey
Do I need to put more stuffing in him? Probably, actually. He seems too squishy. Time to open up my big bag of stuffing. I don't remember how big this is. It's huge, though.
Gets the green light and alien intelligences that look out of this world. That's next on Animal Planet's The Most
Extreme.
Number 5.
Oh, this is not nearly as soft as my old stuffing. No wonder I got it for such a bargain.
So brainy, they're scary.
I kind of don't like the way this feels.
They're coming! They're coming!
Crows?
Of all the birds in the world, crows and ravens scare us the most.
Do they?
We distrust them because they're very, very clever. Crows are number 5 in the countdown because they're smart enough to use our own technology to crack some tricky problems. This crow likes eating walnuts, but breaking open the hard shell's a real problem. You can try dropping the walnut onto a hard road. But this is still a little hit or miss. So the crows figured out how to use some 4-wheeled nutcrackers. The crow is number 5 in the countdown because it's clever enough to drop its dinner on a crosswalk. Only when it gets the green light will it safely secure its snack.
Aww.
But crows aren't the only creatures with calculating minds. Meet human calculator Rudiger Gam.
Why are you
He's
calling him a
taught
human
himself
calculator?
how
It's
to
kinda rude.
carry out stupendous calculations in his head.
362,797,056.
Wow.
To try and find out how Rudiger could make such extraordinary calculations, scientists put him through a brain scanner.
That's insane.
They compared his scan to those of people with average mathematical ability. When calculating, most people use the parts of the brain shown in red, but Rudiger uses the extra areas marked in green. He's using the parts of the brain that most of us reserve for visualization and long-term memory.
What's 99 to the power of 14?
When I calculate, I see these numbers like in a computer screen. I visualize the numbers, and with these numbers I can calculate. 8, 6, 8, 7, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1.
Okay,
Crows
that should
may not
be
able to
enough
calculate like
stuffing.
Rudiger. After all, it took him 6 years of practice to become a champion thinker. But it's amazing what these intelligent birds can learn to do with the incentive of a little food. No wonder the crow hates being typecast as just another featherbrain.
How do we know that? The most extreme.
Number 4.
Our next contender is definitely well-armed and dangerous. It may look terrifying, but the octopus isn't attacking the diver. It's just collecting data. That's because each tentacle has a mind of its own, and every sucker can taste and touch. By covering the diver in this sensitive embrace, the octopus is just trying to learn as much as it can. It's number 4 in the countdown because its central nervous system is so big and so complex, it rivals that of many birds and fish. In fact, the octopus is one of the fastest learners in the world. It has to be, according to
I need
Dr.
to
Carol
be able
Hopper
to
from
sew
the
this up
Waikiki
so
Aquarium.
it'll give a decent tail.
Octopuses are incredibly bright. Consider this. Here's an animal that may have a lifespan as short as 12 to 16 months. When
Mothman.
it hatches, there's no parents to teach it how to learn everything.
There's
on
his
its
body.
own. How to hunt, how to avoid predators, how to control the thousands of color cells in its skin, the 8 arms, and all of the sensory structures. That all has to be integrated by the brain. That's an amazing amount
Body.
of work to do, of learning to do in such a short time.
Since we still got time left in this episode, let's make the feet. See how long that takes.
If it was a human, we could use an IQ test. And if it scored well, it could become a member of a very special club. More than 48,000 Americans belong to Mensa, a club that celebrates the cerebral. You need an above-average IQ just to get in the door. To join famous smart people like actress Gina Davis and author Isaac Asimov, you have to score in the top 2% of the general population on a standardized intelligence test.
I don't think I ever took an IQ test.
Thank you for coming to Mensa's supervised test session. Please let me know.
To get into Mensa, you need an IQ of at least 130. While only 1 in 50 Americans has what it takes, there are good reasons for wanting to join, according to Mensa's Marla Whipple.
There are several reasons why people join Mensa. One is for the social interaction, to be around other people who get their jokes. One is for intellectual stimulation, to be with people who they can talk about ideas and thoughts that they don't normally have a chance to talk about. And another is to attend the intellectual activities and events that Mensa has.
So, is it possible to design a Mensa test for an octopus? All you need is a tasty treat placed inside a glass bottle, seal it with a cork, and give it to a hungry 8-armed genius. The octopus may be the mollusk equivalent of a Mensa member, but it's still not the smartest animal in the sea.
Wow. That's rude.
So far, it's been a battle of wits between intelligent octopi, clever crows, and wise monkeys. But stay tuned, because coming up is an animal that really gives us an earful. That's next on Animal Planet's The Most
Extreme.
Number 3.
Diving into number 3 in our countdown of extreme smarts is the dolphin. Off the coast of Brazil, the dolphin's
Low-key.
big brain brings it
Kinda
up
forgot about the
close and
dolphin.
personal with fishermen. But the catch of the day isn't dolphin.
Okay.
It's mullet that the dolphins have herded close to shore. Like underwater sheepdogs, the dolphins even signal to the fishermen when to cast their nets. And in return, the dolphins get to eat the mullet missed by the net. It's a really clever trick that humans and dolphins have been practicing in Brazil for several hundred years.
That's really
But
interesting.
learning this behavior is no problem for the animal with the closest thing to human intelligence in the sea.
Which is problematic, as they've shown, apparently.
Like us, dolphins are highly sociable animals. They learn by playing games, and one of their most popular sports is seaweed soccer.
Don't leave that woman alone with those dolphins.
Scientists working with dolphins have discovered that these skillful swimmers are so smart, they may even be able to recognize themselves as individuals. This kind of intelligence is only seen in great apes and humans. But it isn't easy trying to figure out just how smart dolphins are. In the past, some people have tried to measure intelligence by taking a close look at the skull. Back in 1798, a Viennese physician came up with the pseudoscientific idea that you could read a human's personality from feeling bumps on the skull. It was called phrenology and became hugely popular around the world. It was said that a phrenologist felt the bumps on the head of a young man working in a grocery store. The phrenologist told the man he was in the wrong business. He should get out of the store and do something mechanical. The young man's name was Thomas Edison.
Wow.
Phrenology wouldn't be much
Thomas
use at all
Edison?
because their brains are so different to ours. That's because the bulk of their brain
You're
is
telling me
devoted
some
to
random man
processing
can rub my
sound
head and tell me what fucking profession I should be in?
Are connected with hydrophones and speakers. Listen to this exchange between Doris, a bottle-nosed female in one tank, and Dash, a bottle-nosed male in the other. The scientists have been keeping records on whether the male or female dolphin talks more.
Wow.
As expected, their report showed the female Doris is by far the gabbiest.
Wow.
Today, scientists believe that dolphins are making all that noise not to talk, but to hunt.
As expected,
The
bitch.
dolphin actually makes far more noises than we can hear. It fires off ultrasonic clicks and whistles like a submarine using sonar. By listening to the echoes of these ultrasonic sound waves, it can build up a sonar picture of the world around it. The beauty of ultrasound is that when it contacts a fish, some of the ultrasonic waves can pass right through the skin. The beam may then reflect back off the bones or guts, resulting in a number of different echoes. Some scientists believe that these echoes are processed in the dolphin's brain to form a 3D image of the fish. Which explains why the dolphin's brain is so big. It takes a lot of brain power to be able to hunt by ultrasound.
Do you think dolphins can tell when people are pregnant? Like, because they have ultrasound? Like, do you think that they can be like, they can like click at you and be like, that bitch pregnant? You know what I mean? What did I drop? I don't know. Oh, probably a safety thing. Did leave a long tail for sewing. I'm bad at sewing, so. Bro, what?
It's feeding feeding time at the
They hated me
Honolulu
because I
Zoo.
spoke the truth.
But this is no ordinary dinner party. Part of the zoo's enrichment program is to turn lunchtime into a lesson in problem solving. But number 2 in the countdown definitely won't starve. For chimpanzees can sometimes be just as smart as us. But that's hardly surprising, given that we share up to 98% of our genetic material. To see just how similar our brains are, you just have to look at our babies.
Why?
Just like a human infant, a newborn chimp learns to recognize its caregiver's voice and responds with a look and a smile.
I thought you weren't supposed to smile at chimps. How did I never notice their scleras are black?
When they're 3 months old, both human and chimp babies will analyze new objects by placing them in their sensitive mouths. After 6 months, the chimpanzee is actually more aware of its environment than its human counterpart. It's only when they get to their first birthday that the chimpanzee starts getting left behind in the race for human consciousness.
Okay, there we go. God, I couldn't get that in.
Most chimpanzees will be lucky to reach the intellect of a 4-year-old human. Hardly surprising, since even a 4-year-old has a brain 3 times the size of a chimp.
Wow.
But chimpanzees are still clever enough to copy the most important human skill of all. They make tools. Wild chimpanzees produce over 20 different types of tools. This hammer and anvil may look simple to us, but it can take up to 6 years to develop the proper technique. That's about the same time it takes us to go through graduate school. But one chimp is so smart, he goes to university.
What?
Okay, Kanzi's ready.
Kanzi is at Georgia State University. And while
This is how we get fucking Planet of the
he is
Apes.
clever enough to understand and respond to human language using signs on a special keyboard.
Find Austin. Austin.
You look. Austin, good job.
I feel like we shouldn't be trying to
Found a
make
way to communicate.
apes
What does
smarter,
a chimpanzee
personally.
like to talk about? Well, according to his research buddies, Kanzi's favorite subjects center around games and food.
Me too.
Kanzi may be top of his class, but he's still only number 2 on the countdown of extreme smarts.
Okay, can you put the apples on the fire?
Wow, he did that so
We've
well.
seen the 9 contenders. They're the best of the best. Only one animal is a more extreme thinking machine. It's number 1, and it's coming up next on Animal Planet's The Most.
Sometimes I wish my mic would pick up on the dog sleeping behind me, because he snores so loudly.
Number 1.
Soaring in to number 1 in our countdown of extreme smarts is the parrot. This is a
Interesting.
Kia.
Oh, that makes sense,
a
actually.
mountain parrot that lives in the southern Alps of New Zealand. So what's so smart about this bird? As a part of an international test of animal IQ, the Kia was challenged with a 7-stage puzzle. To get the food, it had to pull levers, push buttons, turn handles, and pull out a wooden cart. up against the best brains in the animal kingdom, the parrot couldn't wait to get started. In a little over a minute, the parrot won the food and the competition. But the cleverness of a Kia comes as no surprise. The parking lots of ski fields in their mountain homes are full of similar 7-stage puzzles. And Kia just love the chance to work things out. Or off. In these mountains, it's the Kia's playful curiosity that gives them the edge. That's how they discovered that shearwater burrows contain nutritious meals. Unfortunately, a young Kia also has to learn that making an omelet isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to a remarkable brain and a beak like a Swiss Army knife, the Kia can crack even this puzzle. But when it comes to smart parrots, one really stands out from the flock. Meet Alex, the resident bird brain at the University of
Oh,
Arizona,
African greys
where
are
he's worked with Dr. Irene
so
Pepperberg
fucking
for more
smart.
than 20 years.
How many green block? Good boy. What matter? Paper. Good boy. Okay, what matter? Whoa. Whoa, very good boy.
This remarkably clever parrot is estimated to have the problem-solving skills of a 6-year-old child. And all this with a brain the size of a walnut. That's why the parrot is #1 in our countdown of extreme smarts. For when it comes to thinking, the parrot really is the most extreme.
Wow. Okay. Nope.
We're
Oh, I don't know if we can even watch this episode anyway. Okay, so I'm basically done with this foot. I've got like 3 stitches and then we're done. But that's where I'm gonna call the stream. It's been 3.5 hours of just crocheting. My body hurts a little bit. So that's where we're gonna call it. I don't really have a plan for this week. I think on Saturday I'm supposed to do more Final Fantasy for the Halloween event that they're doing. I need to remove the... Oh wait, no. I think that's the plan. We may do more gorilla streams. I really don't know. We'll see how I feel and if I'm up. We've got a body and now 2 little feet that will go down here. He is coming together nicely. I will finish him on stream. I don't know about sewing him together on stream. My sewing skills are piss poor, but I don't want y'all to see that, be subjected to that. But he's got little feeties. He's got a body. Next we need to make arms, wings, and antenna. Yeah, arms, wings, and antenna. And the wings will take a little bit. But then Mr. Moth will be done. He will be ready. Okay. Successful stream. I have somebody that we can raid out to. So we will do that. We will do that. Okay. So we're gonna raid out to my friend Mint, Kinky Mint. thank you all so much for joining my little impromptu Mothman stream. I have a raid command. Oops, I can spell it correctly. Stream ending, stream ending. Got a raid command, it's a little cringe. I'm cringe. You were looking playing Toontown. Hell yeah. If you missed it, we made body, little feeties. So that is what we have of Mr. Mothman. Maybe we'll do another gorilla stream this week, finishing him. But we will see. Oh, also, as a reminder for anybody here that wasn't here earlier, I did finish making Slender Man. I have to glue his tie down a little bit better, but I did finish making him. He is up for sale on my Etsy, if any of y'all are interested. But in case you missed it from my Twitter, this is Slendy Man all made. Anyway, gonna do the raid command one more time. We're gonna raid out to Mint. You guys be nice and have a good rest of your night, and thank you for joining. Bye bye.